So what's like the first time you played outside of Pittsburgh?
Cleveland with Sylvania. We
I see,
won the
yeah.
Guerrilla Battle of the Bands. Yeah, I was just trying to get my timeline
Oh,
right.
was it like a fucking tournament?
Yeah,
Like a cross
yeah.
city tournament?
It was just like a battle of the bands. Yeah, it was like I don't remember all the bands that played. They were sick, but it was like an all day thing. And Alive to Live, which was a band with Louis Costello, who does like stuff on his own now. If you hear any of his stuff, but like. And then they ended up winning. Sorry, I keep up. They ended up winning.
No, sorry, my mic was backwards.
Oh dang!
Is
I thought
yours
I was
too?
leaning back
Wait,
too far.
Check that yours is the right way too.
Yeah, mine's the right way.
All right.
No, maybe not. I don't know if I know.
I was like, why does mine sound so thin? It sounded like this.
But yeah, Guerrilla Battle of the Bands, and we didn't win, but they liked us a lot, and we played a couple shows with them after, and then we got them to book us a show in Cleveland. And at first it was supposed to be like a place called, like, it starts with an O, like the O, I don't know. Do you know any good, like the Odeon or something like that? It's
in
like
Cleveland?
Yeah, do you know? Have you ever heard anything like that?
I've been to Cleveland twice.
Oh, yeah?
But I've never been to a show there of any sorts.
Yeah, I guess this would be the only show I went to there. When Catatonia went and played in Ohio, though, we played in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame once. Not like a full show.
Oh, you told me about that.
That was so sick. I talk about that all the time. I mean, like we weren't booked in the Hall of Fame. They just have a room where you can like jam. You know?
Yeah.
And it was empty, and we like picked up the instruments and just like played a couple songs.
Wait, didn't you tell me there was a lady and you were like, can we go up there?
Yeah. Because there were like sign-ups. There were sign-ups, and we were like, oh man, like it's gonna take forever. So we walked over and we were like, hey, like, there's no one up there. Could we go up there? Like, the guy, well, actually,
incredible.
the guy walked up to us, and we were, like, standing there. We kind of, like, we must have, like, looked antsy, like we were about to say something, you know? And he was like, you guys a band? And we were like, yeah. And then we were like, anyone in there? They're like, no. They were like, go ahead. And we were like, all right, fuck it. Like, and we ended up playing, like, a couple of our songs. And there was, like, a little, like, not, like, a big crowd of people, but, like, the people that were standing around there, they definitely watched. Like, you know, that made me happy as fuck. Like, it was just really cool. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like I said, like, when I say it, like, it sounds like I'm like clout chasing when I'm like, oh, we played in the Rock Hall of Fame, like, but it's just like,
no, that's just so cool though.
It's just it was a great experience. Like you walk through all like the whole thing, and you like see all like the all like the legendary pieces of music history. Like you're just like charged, you know, like oh, I'm ready to go.
I was amped up when I left the MoMA last summer. Sorry. There was like the Play It Loud thing there where they had like the best of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with like all of these people's personal items. Like, bro, they had the Gibson Les Paul that Jimmy Page has used at every single Led Zeppelin show since like it was like 1972 or something. I was like, wait, how do they have this right now? They had all of Hendrix's, including the one he burnt, including like the first one he had, the one he painted, the Flying V, like all of them right there in the same room with Eric Clapton's Blackie, which was stolen. He went on like a Stratocaster buying spree after that because he couldn't find one that he liked enough, and then he found it on an auction like 19 years later. And I was like, wait, how do they have this? Like, he was willing to give that up again? That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But no,
I think I know the room leaving there. I
was like, let's go.
No, that was on in the... that was
in
not,
the MoMA in New York City.
Oh, so they just, like... They must have, like, transported... Because at the... Like, I feel like that is similar.
Yeah, it was only a few months that they had it.
At the museum itself, like, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they had a room full of, like... just the most legendary guitars, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like they had like, oh dude, they had like a Van Halen. They had like everybody you could imagine.
Mind blowing.
Like, and I was like, this is.
I almost couldn't comprehend that it was what I was actually looking at.
Yeah, I know.
Like they had them in these glass cases that you could go on either side.
Yeah, same thing.
So
that's what I'm saying.
The Les Paul for Led Zeppelin, I was just like staring at the scratches on the back because. Did you ever notice, especially on a Les Paul, the scratches tell like a story? It's crazy. Like on mine, there's only this one spot from this one time where I held the guitar right there where I had a certain belt buckle. And then over on the other side, there's like more wear marks from like this part of the leather.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And then like over where your elbow goes, it gets discolored a little bit. Like mine is white too, so it has like more of it shows more.
Yeah, they start to turn that like yellowy, and then they get or unless they're wearing through the finish completely, I guess, and you just start to see the wood. I love the way Strats wear too. Yeah, like I love it when they start to go bare, like same kind of wear spots because like it's like your heavy use, but like way on the back on the top where the curve is.
It gives it character.
Yeah, it looks so nice. It looks so nice. Like I use my Strat for everything, and I love it. But and part of me starts to get kind of worried when it's like wearing through. I'm like, oh man, like
Yeah.
But it
You could always get it refretted.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the rest,
Well,
I mean,
it ends up looking really sick, and it's like
it plays so well. Do you ever play like a really old Strat?
No, I wish.
It's a completely different feel.
Yeah,
But you could
I
tell it's because
imagine.
it's been softened.
Yeah.
And it feels more like agile somehow, I guess. Like it's easier to fret a note.
Right. That's the thing that I love
like
about
Strats now are really grippy. Those are less.
That's the thing I
They're very
love
like-
about my Strat, like in particular.
Same with
is
the telly,
neck
the
is-
grippy, yeah.
No, my neck is so high gloss and it's so soft. It's so easy to move around. You know, like it's like that's what I've always loved about that Strat. Like I don't know what it is about. Like it's a 2011. I don't know that much about like, you know, honestly that about it. I know it's an American Strat. It's 2011 and that's it pretty much. But like I think it's just like a standard because it doesn't have like I think that's what it says. But either way, it's the neck. The neck is on that one in particular is like it fits my hand right, but that could also just be me being used to it because I played it for so long. But it like the size and shape fits my hand right, but it's so smooth. Like it's like super high gloss.
I like Les Pauls with a really small neck too. Some are they're like a tree trunk.
Yeah,
Other
my
ones
Les
are
Paul's thick as fuck.
Yeah. There's even thicker ones that are like full mahogany or some shit up
Yeah.
there, and it's just it's like a D shape they call it.
Yeah.
But did you ever hear Jimmy Page used to break his guitars in by like putting them on a stand and then putting a amplifier right next to it, and he just like play. He'd
Really?
like during practices too. He just like put them in front of the amps. He swore there was some like vibration that broke them in.
Wow. I'm gonna try that. It's Jimmy Page. How can
Yeah.
you say no? You know?
He was into some crazy shit.
Yeah, I feel like that's I don't know. Fuck it, lean into it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That sounds like fun. Why not? I feel like worst that could happen with crazy shit like that is it doesn't break in your guitar and you just left it in front of your amp for no reason. Best that can happen, you follow Jimmy Page's advice and followed in the footsteps of legends and broke in your guitar, you know?
Dude, the only time I've actually played outside of Pennsylvania was with you, and I have this. I've been using this. This is from what was the place called?
Oh man, I have
New
no
York
memory.
Lottery Quick Draw, ready to play? With this 90s ass sunset ring. It's so funny.
What was that place called?
It was in
I should know
Bethpage.
this. Yeah. Oh man.
That was a good trip though.
That was a fantastic time. Like I really the show that you played was the better of the shows, I think. I mean, I like the like turnout wise, I think, because we played 2 shows in Philly the night before.
Yeah, which is crazy.
We went house show to house show. We opened in one.
That's
and closed
dedication.
in the other. It was great. I love it, dude. I love it. You know what I mean? I live for that. Like I like try to pack as much musical stuff as I can in. The more
Yo, your
I feel
cart
like I'm
was
doing.
insanely packed. I couldn't believe it. That was awesome.
We slept in it. We slept in it the night before. And like I know it's weird to say that I always wanted to do that. Like I know it's like but like I always hear about like the bands that like I loved, you know, and about their early tours and shit.
Yeah.
And about them like sleeping in the van and like not really having any money to spend, but like being there and playing their music. And like I think one great thing about music and like one thing that I really love about it is that like and I feel like art in general is like you like taking something, turning into something like way almost like otherworldly.
Yeah.
You know, taking like worldly things or taking anything and like you can just do it with what you have. And the more you have to make it work, like the more creative it is and inspiring to me. I've seen like bands in like basements play like it was one band that like really it was like a bass player and he didn't have enough strings on his bass and I mean it could have been stylistic but I think they had been on tour for a while like maybe and in my imagination I was like he didn't have money for strings but he's here fucking rocking it and I was like that's like
Hell yeah.
I was like this is it at its finest. So like sleeping in the car with Kyle in a random rest stop in New Jersey right outside of New York City that I'd never been to before, about to go play a show around there that night. Like,
That's the dream.
Yeah, and like banging 2 shows in one night or something, like whatever. Like I love that experience. It makes me feel like gets me going, you know?
Yeah, so wait, did you rent them there too in Philly? Or
Rent what? Oh no,
like how you
no.
said you rented the
No, so I just found people on like DIY pages and they like It was like, it's great. It was like a community thing. I mean, I didn't know them before this, but like it was great. Yeah, like we like
What were all three venues like? Because I only saw the one in New
we
York.
they were basements. They were basements
In Philly?
Yeah, they're just two houses.
Dude, house shows are sometimes the best, though.
I
Like,
love the vibe.
money can't buy a ticket to a good house show.
No,
you know? 'Cause
and
sometimes
like,
you
it's
just need
so,
to know
like, tight
the
and,
place and when it's happening.
Yeah, and especially like in Pittsburgh, at least. Like, I mean, I there were notable bands I saw like in the house shows in Philly. They were both really like the second one was better than the first one. Now that I really think about it, the second one was really good. The first one, it wasn't bad, but we just played early, so they just weren't like, I don't know. You know what I mean? There weren't like a bunch of people there or anything, and I just have a better time. Like, it's not. I don't know. I don't know if you have this experience, but like, I enjoy playing for more people. It gets me fucking hype. Like,
Packed ass house, dude. I was
it's so much
into
easier to
house shows when I
perform
lived in
that
Oakland.
way.
Like going there for the first year, I kind of found them here and there, and then the next year, I started playing with like Isaiah and Jake, and then a rotating bassist. We'd play like every house show that we could find.
I probably saw you like with them. I think I did like a couple.
Oh wait,
times
no,
in
I think I
houses.
actually started doing my own stuff just with a mic, and then I played drums for them afterwards.
Did you play the Bushnell? I imagine you did.
Tons of times.
Yeah,
Dude,
I swear I
used to
saw
live.
you guys at
I
the
used to live
Bushnell.
about 100 feet from the Bushnell, so I was always there. I was friends with like both of them.
Dang. Yeah, I only got to play there one time with Tempered. It was one of the last shows at the Bushnell before it turned into Glove World.
Yeah, because like Stu and Bill both lived there.
Yeah.
Bill moved to Philly, and then Stu moved out. He's still in Pittsburgh though.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, now
only
it's
know
what,
Stu.
Lavender Town? I haven't been
Oh,
there
Lavender
since.
Town. That's right. Boss Thing says Glove World. Yeah, yeah. That's Lavender Town now. But either way, I saw so many great shows there.
Dude, Stu is
like,
the man.
So many great shows there.
He doesn't play anything. Like I've never seen him play anything,
I
but
have
he's
no
so
idea if he
dedicated
does or
with
not,
getting like
yeah.
the PA there, making
Yeah.
sure like all the bands have everything, and he threw them every weekend at times.
He does stuff at Roboto now sometimes.
He does.
Yeah. I think a couple
I
shows
still
that
haven't
we
been
played
there,
recently.
Mr.
You've
Roboto.
never been to Roboto?
No.
Oh my god.
They're not open right now,
Roboto.
right?
I don't think. No, not probably. I've heard shows might come back.
Yeah.
Like,
We should go when they open.
yes, yeah. I love it there, dude. And it's like, it's more, at least the shows that I've seen there, of the bands that I've heard of in the city, they seem like, I don't know, it seems like everyone's doing well now out there. Like, the scene's so strong nowadays. I don't know, it's great. But either way,
Pittsburgh
like,
music scene.
it's so
Ooh.
strong nowadays. Like, it's so strong.
People
It makes
don't
me
know.
So happy.
Pittsburgh is fucking about to take over this music
It's
industry.
so the scene here is just makes me so happy.
It's insane.
Like, people I don't know, like when I first started playing, I always say this, but like it really like inspired me. Like I first started playing, like it wasn't like that. Maybe I was just in with the wrong people, but like once I found it's just so sick. Like so it's like kind of popping. I've seen like it kind of popping at Roboto recently, but when I started going there, it was my friend that I met in high school. The first show I ever saw there was like Weird Paul rock band, and it was like my friend that I met in high school, and we went together. And I fondly remember that experience. That was a good time. And so I've been going to the Roboto project, but I just got lucky, and like someone that like is really important to me like ended up introducing me to local music like a fair amount of times when I was younger. You know, I started going to shows.
Were
and
there a
stuff.
lot of like bands growing up here? Because I mean,
I think there have always, from what I heard, like when Catatonia recorded with Johnny Razor of Johnny and the Razor Blades, he talked about, he's just a little bit older than we are, and he talked about like the scene like when he was the age that we are now, and he like said that the bands have always been great, you know. It just,
what about
like,
even in high school? Like,
I
were there
don't-
a lot of bands in your high school?
Oh,
'Cause
there were
hella
a
people
few,
are now
yeah.
in bands in the local scene that all went to high school with you, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that ended up really weird. I don't know what the experience of CV, why it created so many musicians, but it did the summer camp.
Yep.
3 of them, 4 of them? Because I think they're...
In summer camp?
Yeah. Yeah, so Mitchell McDermott, CV.
I know him.
Connor Lindsay, CV. Forgive me, what's the name of their vocalist? I never talked to him in high school. I just know
I
that
only
he-
really ever talked to Mitch because he was playing that white telly, and I went up. I was like, "Yo, I'm a telly guy too. What's up?" And then we played like a few shows, Like, what was the one? I think you were at it. It was Isaiah's Goodbye Show. You
I
remember
played that show.
Yeah.
I was
You
one
did.
of,
You
yeah, we
did.
were first. That was one of the that was one. I love that show. That was one of the best shows.
Yeah,
I have
dude.
such fond memories of that show. That was such
Yeah,
a good
dude.
night.
That was one of the
so
best
good.
shows I've ever seen in my
So
entire life.
many
Just
good
because everyone
people
brought
on
it,
that bill. Yeah,
and everyone was so happy.
it was such a big bill, dude. It
Yeah,
was
because
such a big
dude,
bill.
everyone was there because they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, he's moving."
Because Isaiah Small is the man.
Yeah,
He made
dude.
friends with everybody. You know what I mean?
You know
He's
what's-
such a cool guy. I mean, you know, at least when I got to, he came to Bendigo shows a couple times when like we threw shows at our practice space or whatever. I mean, like jammed with him a couple times out there. I mean, it was after Bendigo and I was tired and probably pretty fucked up. So, but like, I don't know. But it was great times, you know. And then I've seen him play live a bunch of times. And the first time I ever played live with him, I don't know if you were drumming or not. Were you? It was Bossing Say. And he mentioned we did our Catatonic Eternal, you know. And,
Yeah, of course.
And he was really, he was really
Mainly on
into
drums.
the drum beat. You know what I mean?
I actually don't know how to play any of those songs on guitar, which is funny as hell.
I could show you. It's yeah, that he really liked that
I wanna learn that
groove, and he
one. Yeah.
mentioned. So
Those chords are crazy, man.
yeah,
That whole song is crazy. That
yeah,
drum beat.
Yeah, I love it. Nate's
Wait,
the
going
man.
back to the show that we played too. Like, what do we have? Like 5 days to prepare.
Yeah,
So I
it was
practiced
late.
with you guys like once or twice probably.
Yeah.
But-
you were dedicated though. You learned them. I was so
Yeah,
happy.
no, I
about
went
that.
over
Like,
to the
saved their
studio
asses.
2 other times to practice, and I mostly just practiced the boom, 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 ka boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And I thought that was the song that I'd fuck up on. That one, 100%. Like if I was playing rock bands on drums, I would have got 100% on that song. And the one I thought I knew the most, I got the worst on.
Which one did you think you did worse? On?
It was the very beginning. There was that one part.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah. But we played that off pretty well.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like the first 10 seconds of us playing pretty much.
But yeah, that was
We were like, oh.
I was really happy with that, dude. I thought that show went really well.
That
I
was a great show. That was fun.
Like it was so good, and it was unfortunate they couldn't make it. Like 'cause definitely, I would have like that's my
I know.
dude. Like I would have loved to have the complete lineup there, but you know, he just like it ended up just being like a work thing and a scheduling thing, you know.
No, it was definitely tight.
Yeah, it was really good. It
Didn't
was
you hit
really
a
good.
deer or like have a
I
flat
hit a
tire or
dead deer.
something?
I hit a dead deer on the way home and blew my.
So
blew my
wait.
tire.
Wait, this was like 11 p.m. outside of this
Oh,
venue,
God.
and I was about to go drive to my aunt's that was 45 minutes from there. And,
Yeah.
like, stay the night, wake up, and then drive all the way back to Pittsburgh. Which, by the way, even in the morning, that is a long fucking drive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, where are you guys? Are you just gonna like sleep around here? And you were like, nah, I think we're gonna like drive home.
Yeah.
And then you stop for a bit right at that place in New Jersey.
Yep. Well,
And then on
no,
the PA Turnpike, you hit it, right?
no, I hit it the night. I hit it in the night, and it might have been New Jersey where we stopped the first time, but I hit it the night after we left. And then it didn't feel like I hit a dead deer, and I guess the bone is disgusting. That poor fucking fella. But his
That poor fella.
for real though, rest in peace that deer. But his bone probably punctured my my tire, and I didn't know it at first. Like it started driving just a little weird, but like it wasn't like it didn't feel like I had a flat tire. It didn't sound like I had a flat tire. So I drove for a little while, just like with it. Might have been a very slow leak or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I ended up pulling over that night because I was so fucking tired, and I woke up in the morning and the tire was completely flat. I was like, I didn't have any money left. I spent all my money, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna throw the spare on, and I ended up getting like off the highway and driving like a way longer.
But with a
way
donut,
home.
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a normal wheel?
No, it was
On
just
the turnpike.
No, I ended up getting off the turnpike. I had some highways that I was like, fuck the turnpike, because I was like, shit. Because I mean, I've done that before, but like, not on the turnpike, but like on highways and shit. But like, I was like, oh, fuck. Like,
How fast did you go? Because you're supposed to go, what, 45 with them?
yeah, I probably
Going
went over
70.
that. On the turnpike before I could get off, I definitely went. But it was okay. It was okay. We made it. The donuts held up. It's wore through to like the metal part now. But she held up for us, so we made it back. Yeah, that was crazy. That was almost bad. But it was okay. It worked out, you know.
Damn.
Yeah. It's always been some, I don't know. That's my favorite part about it. You just made it happen. It was great. It was great. I remember walking through New York for the first time. That's an incredible experience.
I remember I
I'll
called
never
you.
forget
And I was
that.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
what's up, dude? Oh, nothing. Walking through New York?
Yeah.
Oh, where?
I had no idea.
I don't really know.
I had no idea because we just walked across the
That's New York in a nutshell, though.
we
It's
parked
so
in
big.
Brooklyn and walked across the bridge and we're like, here we are. Like I think we walked through like Chinatown, I think, but like I didn't have like a map or anything to like look it up. I mean, I guess I could have just looked up, but we didn't have a bunch of time because we slept, woke up, rolled into New York, so
Right.
and we had a show later in
And
the
even
day.
you had to drive straight through New York first, right?
Yeah, we did actually. We passed New York. We didn't at first. We weren't even really like. We were gonna go find the venue first, but we passed. So we drove all the way past New York out towards Bethpage or what I think it's what it's called, right? And then we were like, fuck it, like we have hours, like let's go explore New York. So we turned back around and parked in Brooklyn and walked across the bridge to the city. But we just didn't have a lot of time. But so that's why I didn't take any time to like be like, this is where we are, this is where we're going. I was like, we're just gonna go this way and we're gonna get as far into New York as we possibly can.
That's the way to
before
do
the
it,
show.
though. Honestly, I've gone to New York so many times for my family, and like, dude, I still walk around places that I'm like, oh shit, like I've never been here before. Any of this.
That happened to me in Pittsburgh too, though.
It happens in Pittsburgh too, yeah.
Like
it's crazy.
I'd lived here like all my life, and then I like had a delivery job. I mean, I have a delivery job now, but I had a delivery job before, and I'd go to parts of like Pittsburgh and be like, dude, like, what the fuck? I've lived here my whole life and I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd seen it, but
yeah,
and New York's gigantic, dude. Gigantic.
Yeah, New York's enormous.
Yeah.
You can't comprehend it looking at it. Like when you first drive in from New Jersey, like seeing all of it, especially versus here.
Yeah,
because
it's gigantic, dude.
like here you can only see a given portion of the city at all times because like especially over on the south side with the hills and stuff, it's kind of like bowled in and it blocks each other. Like I can't see the North Shore from here, or like I really can't see Oakland either. It's only like small bits that you see at one time, but when you roll into like on the BQE especially, there's like just buildings and buildings and buildings and just like rows of the like craziest buildings. As you go farther out where it's residential and stuff, it gets really interesting. Like New York is very, very wide. Same with Pittsburgh too. Like even when you drive out to like Robinson, it's still pretty fucking dense out there.
Yeah. Yeah, but like that's not like the city though. The city
Yeah,
experience is ended because you go through a bunch of like suburbs and stuff to get there. It's just like not that like whatever. Like Robinson's cool and everything. Like, but it's just like when you go to New York, there's like so much city. You know what I mean?
So
like,
much city.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's just cool the history there too. Like I like being places like that. Like it was cool. Just the musical history. Like I like being in any place that like cool stuff like that has happened. You know what I mean? Like a lot of great things, great artists have been through
so
there
much.
at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If not, like came from there.
Yep. I always imagine Jimi Hendrix in the Village.
Jimi Hendrix
Just like playing
in the
at
Village.
shows as someone's backing guitarist.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Detroit was really cool for that kind of same reason. Like, as I was there, I was looking up musicians from Detroit, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
It's huge. That's a dope city, though. It reminds me of Scranton, but like more spread out, and then taller buildings. But it's very like Scranton somehow.
Did you go to Third Man?
No, he has one in Detroit.
Yeah, I think he has
Fuck,
two.
I
I think he has
didn't
one
know
in
that.
Detroit, one
But
in
I
Nashville.
did go to see what high school he went to. I was like, can you guys drive? Like, I looked it up on GPS. I was like, I was third wheeling it. I just like went to visit my college roommate that lives in Ann Arbor, which is only 45 minutes from Detroit. So I was like third wheeling, and I was like, can you guys drive like 2 miles over that way? I want to go look at this high school. And they were like, what? Oh, Jack White. And they were like, oh, sick. It was like right in the middle of the city is this like Votech looking building.
Whoa.
But I didn't know he had a third man there. That's sick.
Yeah, I think he has two of them. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he has two of them. One in Detroit, one in Nashville. Because we were going to go play Detroit, like when we were booking the second tour, that was on our list of places to go. And I was like, I really wanted to go to Third Man. I just think it's cool. It was probably the one in Nashville. You know, do you know the world's fastest record thing that they cut?
Yeah.
Where they did like a band live in their thing. Excuse me. And then they had and then it cut straight to vinyl.
Yep.
And then pressed it and put it out in their store.
Yeah, they had
I think that was
hors
Nashville,
d'oeuvres
right?
and drinks, and then they went and pressed the album, and then they brought it back and sold it to people.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I don't know if
Willy
the
Wonka.
Detroit one has. He is though. That's a great way to describe him. He is like the Willy Wonka of music.
Yep.
He's great. I love him, but that's definitely true. Oh man. Wow.
Jack White's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Have you seen It Might Get Loud?
Have you seen his what?
It Might Get Loud.
Yeah. You recommended that to me. I watched that.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
My favorite part is where they introduce Jimmy Page, and then they introduce the Edge, and the Edge is like, I love technology. Like, I want to use as many pedals as possible. I need so much technology. And then it just cuts to Jack White driving an old ass car in the country, and he's like, I think technology is really the killer of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, takes away truth or something like that. It's so fun. It makes me laugh every time.
Builds the guitar with the
Who says you
piece
need
of
a
wood.
guitar?
Yeah. And then like he has that scene where he's like, I think it's supposed to be, it's like his younger self, right? That he has with him, and he's like has him stepping on the guitar on the floor.
Step on it.
Yeah. Oh man. And it really got me too when he's like playing piano and I forget exactly what he says. It's something about like the ladies that like kicks out the chair.
Yeah.
If
you really want the ladies, you got to kick out the chair.
Yeah. Oh man, that was good. It was neat. Like to I don't know. It was really neat to see all those legends do all that at once,
Yeah.
and then like So I feel like I don't know very many celebrities, but I feel like some of them, when they're on stage, like the energy that they put off, and then like when you talk to them, it's like different. Like you might like not expect it, or like the Edge seemed chill. He seemed like, you know what I mean? Like he just seemed like I could go and like have like do this with him.
Yeah.
But Jack White, I'm not saying he doesn't seem chill, but he was like he was Jack White. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he gave off the same energy that he gives off. Like it seemed honest. I don't know. I'm not trying to talk against him. I'm trying to talk like.
No, it's almost talking for him. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like honest. Like it seems like his personality when he's on stage and in his music.
He seems like he's the same person no matter who's looking.
Yeah,
which is respectable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the other people. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying the other people weren't, but I was just surprised.
No, but he's an extreme example.
I was like, whoa, yeah. Like he's like
yeah.
his music makes him sound like kind of eccentric and kind of like, and you see him, and he's like. He's definitely all those things,
He loves making pretty ugly music,
Yeah, he likes working hard too. Like from what I know, with his guitars, he likes them to be all crazy.
Yeah, his action is like 2 inches.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, dude. I guess Jack White wouldn't be able to stand me. Like I as easy as possible. You know what I mean? Like I I was talking about the Strat earlier. Like my neck's like super, sliver and like as easy as it can be. You know.
I love the part though where Jimmy Page just starts playing the riff to "A Whole Lot of Love." And Jack White's just like a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah.
He looks over.
I mean, could you only imagine? Like that'd be like if we made the same movie, but it was like
I would definitely start crying.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
what I'm saying.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man. That's like people have had careers like that. Like blow my mind, dude. Like like people that have met so many people. Like Dave Grohl's had like an incredible, like really crazy like amount of collaboration, and he's done so many different projects that have all done so well. And like Paul McCartney, has done like a ridiculous amount of things with so many people, and that just like fascinates me. Like Paul McCartney, and then like there was a documentary on Netflix on like Quincy Jones, and I watched that, and I was like. Whoa, like this dude.
I gotta watch that.
This dude, he's done so much stuff. Like his career expands. Like he arranged like Fly Me to the Moon.
What?
Yeah. And he also I don't know exactly, he produced Thriller, I think, or like arranged Thriller or something, like worked with Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? I'm not sure exactly all the detail of what he did or didn't do. But I do know that is another album that his name's on. You know what I mean? So it's like, whoa, someone that's done that much like stuff and met that many people.
Rashida Jones is his daughter, right? That guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
you
know who his
her?
daughter is. Mm-mm.
Here, I'll show you a picture. You definitely.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's an actress. Wait.
Joe,
Want another
pull it
beer
up,
too?
Jamie. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go grab a beer.
Sure.
I'll pause this and save it. Yeah, yeah, and
Like-
seeing his hands do it, and you see it, and you hear it, and you're like, wait, that sounds just like the record, but wait, and your brain just like stops working for a second. It's
Yeah.
dude,
That's
there's
crazy.
nothing like seeing live music, especially of people that you listen to so much, and you have their studio version ingrained in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Yeah. So like, do you know? I may
Cheers.
have talked to him. Cheers. Thank you. Do you know Placebo?
Yeah.
I fucking love Placebo, man. And I saw them when I was like 18, and I feel like they don't come over here very often. Like they're a European band, and
Oh, are they really?
yeah, and I feel like they're a little more. Maybe I mean I wasn't around for their first record went gold or something like that. You know, meddled in some form. I don't remember exactly what it was in Europe, I guess. I don't know. I like foggy on the details, but like not in the United States. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
And they
Europe.
so they're bigger over there, and they tour over there more often, from what I've noticed. They do come over here, but like a lot of times they don't skip. They don't. I didn't see him in Pittsburgh. Like I had to go to Philly to see him, and it was a great time because it was just like me and my friend, and it was like one of the first trips I went on. Like as my own person, you know what I mean? It wasn't like family vacation. Like it was like, all right, like we're gonna go see a band in a different city, stay with a stranger. You know what I mean? Like it was, you know, like it was this a new experience at the time, and like they are so good. And I saw them. They were touring Loud Like Love, and yeah, they played a couple of the classics too. I think not like classics, but like older ones. Cause I love their first album. I don't know if you know their first album.
I only know the one that you showed me. If that was the first one.
Fucking good. Their drummer on that album is so good, dude. Like it's all so good, so good. One of my favorites. I think I don't remember there, but that was the only album I think he was with them for. And I don't remember why exactly they split up, but like, man, can he play the drums?
Dude, I can't wait to play a show in another country.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
We've been talking about states, but we gotta get international, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so crazy. I couldn't even imagine. Could you imagine like if you were like really doing it, you know, and like you're playing in the United States and you go over to another country and like people like know your song?
I know.
I would freak out.
Bro, wait,
I wouldn't be able to handle that.
There's like an early Mac Miller live album where he does Donald Trump live.
Yeah.
And he says maybe the first 8 bars. And then they cut out even like the music at most times. And the crowd says every single word. And they're all screaming it. And I was like, what the fuck?
The first time that happened, I would fucking like...
It's insane.
I would lose
I can't
my
even
mind.
imagine.
I would just like... I'd cry. Like I dreamt about that my whole life. You know what I mean? That'd be...
It's almost like I don't even know what that would feel like, because think of it. It's something that like was in your minds, and then like you decided to put down, and then everyone's just like yelling it at you. Everyone's just yelling it at you.
You ever listen?
That would be insane.
Sometimes, like, I know this is weird, but like, sometimes I'll watch live versions of stuff or watch like a live performance of a band, and they'll have the whole audience like screaming the song back, and I'm like, this is kind of creepy.
It is.
Like,
it is.
You know
It's like an
I
episode of Black Mirror.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of creepy. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, it's cool. Like, it's amazing. And like, I've been fortunate enough to where like some Catatonia shows, especially at Bendigo, where it would be like a lot of people that see us a lot, and like our close friends and like stuff like that. They would sing our songs back to us. And now like that was like people that I mostly know. And because we had like a sing-along part to Who Knows. Catatonia had like a sing-along part to Who Knows.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, so like when we were playing like our hometown, we'd get people singing along to that, and that would feel like I'd be like, oh my god, like so I couldn't imagine like a festival full of people or something, like, you know what I mean?
No.
I would freak out. I would like, you know, I mean, it'd
With
be great
flags.
if you're on stage, yeah, you know, but
Girls
like,
are pulling up their shirts.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
that would just be distracting. I would forget the lyrics.
Oh man. But yeah, but it's kind of creepy to watch when you're not involved. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like when you watch it and you're not involved, I'm like, this is like, and like you get like real high, you get like high where you're like, what's going on? Like what's around me? Like smoke a lot, and then you like watch it, you're like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah,
like
dude.
these all like you got like 1,000.
What's
It's
the
like a
biggest
cult.
show that you've played?
I don't know. Because I don't know like the head count of people that turn up to our shows unless I book it. You know
Like,
what I mean?
was the venue?
But I will say that it was probably when Sylvania played the Rex for the show I was talking about earlier with the for the Battle of the Bands. That there were a lot of people there. There were definitely a lot of people there. And that was really cool. There were a lot of bands in the bill. It was an all-day show, and but that was really cool. That was probably one of the biggest turnouts that I've had. And
that
then,
place can get packed.
Yeah, it's a pretty big venue. And then we opened for Puddle of Mud once, and we opened for Lit once, and that was also that was incredible. Like there were a ton of people at that show, like a ton.
Dude, being in a concert, like not the mosh pit, but next to the mosh pit, that area.
Yeah.
Where I call that the getting thrown around area, where people get thrown around into other people that knock into you.
Right, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I was right against the stage there once, and the stage is perfectly aligned with my pelvis, and I was right against the stage, like the whole time just being pushed against it, which was fine. Like, it didn't feel good, but I backed up because I had space, so I was a good foot behind it. And then someone gets thrown into the person next to me,
Yeah.
and he hits me, and dude, I literally thought my hip was broken.
Dang. I've had some
it was
crazy
fun,
mosh
though.
pit experiences too.
It's a good time though. Like that's why we go to shows.
Yeah.
To get,
Mosh pits
to
are
get
so
to be in
much
the front
fun,
row
though.
and just like be there physically.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what I love about house shows too, dude. So close and intimate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's like the
You
best
gotta be
part.
up all in people's
Yeah,
business.
you really do. And like you're so close to the band too. But I one of my friends' bands like way back in the day in high school, Christian Szynski. Oh shit, I probably don't know if I should know. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like he's a criminal, but like I don't know how people feel about their names being said on stuff. But either way, he was in a band called Driven Lifeless, and they opened for the Misfits, and I was like, holy shit, like,
Bro.
that was like there were. Oh no, I was like, holy shit, that was really cool, because I was young and it blew my mind. But that was not the point. What I was gonna say is he got his tooth knocked out in the mosh pit.
Oh my god. Wait, at a show he was playing in?
Yeah, or like not
Wow.
loose. I thought knocked out, but either way, and yeah, I was like, oh man, like that's crazy. So I've seen some mosh pit injuries. I've never had a bad one myself, but like mosh pits get crazy. But like
Yeah.
that's the fun
You
though,
need to
especially
know.
like
Yeah, it's so fun if you know
Yeah.
how to navigate it. Wait,
Yeah.
did I ever tell you I met the Misfits drummer?
no.
Okay, so in Germany, in the Munich airport, coming home, it was the exact week where, like Cuba and America kind of had like better ties, and there was word on the street that you could now have Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
So we went to the cigar shop, like three of us. There's a guy in there that looks like a rock star, pretty much, and he comes over to us and he's like, he's like, hey, you guys Americans, do you know if we can take Cubans back? By the way, I'm the drummer of the Misfits. And the two people I was with, they didn't know who the Misfits was, or Misfits were.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
proper English? And I was like, yeah, I know who the Misfits are, man.
Oh man.
I think the biggest show that I've played was the internet. Where was that? Mr. Smalls.
Mr. Smalls is a great venue. I mean, not was because it's so open, but like that was a great.
Yeah.
I love that place.
It's because like the second row, like the second floor balcony,
Yeah.
that was all filled, and then there wasn't any mosh pits during that, so it wasn't like tuna packed, but
With the internet.
yeah.
Okay, cool. That's I like. When was this? Do you know what year that was?
2016. I have the ticket over there.
Yeah, I love your
thing of tickets.
Yeah,
Might be hard to find.
I love your ticket. Well, I'm not
It's up
gonna
there
lie. I've
somewhere.
said this multiple times, but I'm definitely gonna do that. I have so many tickets, like from like
know.
shows that I've played. I'm gonna get a frame and put my tickets in. I love that. I've loved that ever since.
That's
I
why I
saw
hate screenshots now, because I have like that plus 2 and screenshots
that.
of stuff that I've just scanned on my phone.
I also that's one thing that's one thing I'm gonna miss if everything goes digital. Is I digital.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I like having like the ticket, for the experience. I save all my tickets from all the shows I've played, like all my tickets from all the shows I've went to.
Wait, you know what would be a great idea? What if a touring bands had digital tickets, but everyone that bought a ticket, they got their ticket and then like this picture of a ticket that they could save.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Or like they handed out like, I don't know, something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If they
made them super artsy though, not like a regular ticket.
Yeah. They'd probably charge
even if it was like a video
ticket
ticket though. That would be sick if you had like video tickets that kind of just had like the overall visual theme to it.
Right.
Like imagine an Astro World ticket that was just like him standing there with like the giant golden head behind him with like the flames.
Yeah.
He had that outside of the PPG arena.
Whoa.
He had a giant inflatable head of himself.
Oh my God.
Sick.
Could you imagine?
Right when you walk,
giant
like right
inflatable
next to
head
the
of
front
yourself?
door. Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I could ever even think of to own as a human being. Like,
Yep.
I own my own giant inflatable head.
He had a roller coaster kind of that went over the crowd. Like this thing that was
stage
up
shows
on
get
top,
wild, dude.
Yeah, it was
Stage
crazy.
shows get wild. Some big band. I saw Rob Zombie one time, and I'm not a huge Rob Zombie fan or anything, but
I'm
saw
a fan
them.
of him as a human though. He's so
Yeah,
dope.
he's done a lot of cool stuff. I just don't know that much about him, and like his music is just not it's good and everything, but it's just not like I just don't listen to it all the time, you know. But his stage show was crazy, dude. Crazy. One of the craziest I've ever seen.
He's
like,
a good filmmaker.
He was like standing up on top of this like staircase. There were like giant animatronics in the background. I was like, what is going on?
That sounds like the
it looked like
shit in
Guitar
Guitar
Hero.
Hero. Yeah.
yeah. It was so good. He opened for Korn, and I got free tickets to go because someone was just like, yo, like, here's some tickets. You know, they were like wanted someone to go with them, and it was dope. It was.
Did you ever see a movie he made?
Probably. I'm not a big horror movie fanatic.
He's a great director, though. I have to say.
I'm not I know a lot of people are, especially like it seems like the thing right now.
Well, have you seen Living Dead Girl?
No.
It's a music video of his.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not like
it's cool as hell. He remakes this 1929 German expressionist film called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That like all of that is exactly what Tim Burton like uses for his art style is German expressionism. They were like low budget and very disorienting. So they like instead of having a set with walls and shit, they would just kind of make miniatures and have like all these spirals and like twists and turns. Just think of like any Tim Burton movie, how everything's distorted kind of.
Yeah.
Shutter Islands. Did you ever see that by Martin Scorsese? That's kind of a remake of The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. But anyway, Rob Zombie like remade it, but he was the doctor as like the main villain kind of that it turns out he's not really. Spoiler alert. He's not really evil. This other guy that was telling the story before was just like crazy. And he was his real doctor. And he was in like an insane asylum or something like that. So he recreates all of the scenes and he knew every single thing. Like my, I think it was film history. Yeah, world film history professor. He showed us that video and we watched that movie. And at one point when we were talking about German expressionism and horror and stuff and like Alfred Hitchcock kind of shit, and he's like, yeah, Rob Zombie knows more than me, you, the TA, and that guy in the hall combined about movies. Yeah, dude.
I believe that, man. Yeah, like I said, I just don't know that much about him. Like, and I just happened to see him because I will go see your band. Like, it doesn't like if I have free any show, even if I don't. My first show was I ever went to was Jimmy Buffett. And I'm not gonna lie, like that's another artist that like sure, like all right, Jimmy Buffett, but like I'm not like bumping Jimmy Buffett walking around the city like yeah, you know. But like I got free tickets, so I was like, I'm going, and that was and
you have to.
I was very young. I don't even think I was playing guitar yet, and I started playing guitar when I was 10. So I use that as like a mark because I have trouble remembering years. So if it's like pre guitar and fucking post guitar,
I know.
But
well, it's clear for me. I saw the Backstreet Boys when I was 0 years old.
Dang.
Because I was just like a newborn. I didn't even have a seat. Aaron Carter, I do remember. I think I was probably like 4. My sisters went to the front to try to like touch his hand. My dad and I sat in the very last row. I remember that. That shit was so funny. The very, very last row on purpose. And we were like, all right, so this boy band shit, huh? So then the first actual show I went to, which was right when I first started playing guitar, I had a guitar from Walmart for 2 weeks maybe. And then I saw Mountain open up for Deep Purple, which was fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
My first show experience, like real show experience that I went to on my own, was Anti-Flag at Mr. Smalls. And it was Anti-Flag and I think the Cancer Bats and the Holy Mess. And I was like, I bought tickets to that, myself. Like I didn't just get free tickets. I was like, I want to go to this show. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't anything that someone else asked me or like my parents would like. It was because I didn't really. Now that I think about it, like can't think of like too many big rock shows I went to my parents. I saw like a comedy show when I was younger, and I saw wrestling one time. I used to love wrestling when I was a kid. And those I saw with my parents, but I can only think of one concert that I went to. I mean, I went to a later one, but I meant like in like my early, years. But either way, so like the first ticket I bought by myself was Anti-Flag, Cancer Bats, Holy Mess, and I love the Holy Mess. I don't think they're a band anymore, but like, oh dude, they were so good. And I found them, and I ended up seeing them later at Smiling Moose. But that was the first time. But I'd already known I wanted to do music before that, because that was high school. So like,
yeah,
I
when did you
guess
start playing guitar?
when I was 10. And I saw like a bunch of like random bands, like and like local bands and stuff that I ended up liking. But like the first before that, because I'd gone to Roboto before that for sure. But the first, like, that was the first show that was like a band that I knew, that I liked, that I saw this show was coming up, and I bought tickets for it. Like some reason I just didn't do that very much before, but then I did, and it was great, But I had already been playing guitar for a while. In fact, I had probably maybe even already performed myself for the first time. I just can't remember any other shows that I saw really in between there, music-wise, right now.
Yeah. Did you have like a Vans Warped Tour?
Mm-mm.
In Pittsburgh?
I knew. Oh no, we did. We totally did. I never did Warped Tour though. I was never a Warped Tour kid. I don't really like.
I think I went twice.
I liked like 90s Warped Tour lineups, you know what I mean? Like, because I was really into that kind of stuff.
You have to know what
for a
stage
while.
to go to.
And like,
it was cool going though, just regardless. Like anytime there's a bunch of shit going on, it's so fun.
Yeah, I just ended up going to those. I don't know. It was just like I like for a while like really wasn't into super heavy music like that. I mean, I guess it wasn't even that.
I wasn't into the
heavy
stuff when I was there either. Like I would just go to the other ones.
Yeah,
they
I
had
just
some
never
great
went.
alt rock bands there.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just never ended up going. Like there was, mostly I think it was just because there was never a band on there that was like interesting enough for me to be like, yeah. And I never had like no one I was like hanging out like super close with was like, oh, I'm going. Like you gotta go. So I was just like, all right, whatever. Like,
well, you could always count on like Yellow Card.
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday. They'll always be there.
Right.
But then there's Funeral Party. I saw them. Didn't know about them before, but they're fucking sick. They have like these reverbed out guitar chords that are kind of like open strung. So he'll play like an A chord, but he'll leave all the open notes out. So kind of like U2, I guess, but more like American, like we were saying before, beautifully ugly music. Like Jack White, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess gritty, but
gritty.
I don't know.
Yeah, gritty is a good word.
Music is the more you know about music, the worse you are at using words to describe it, because to really get music, you need to think very, very meta, where words do not apply.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you just need to experience it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I mean, realistically, because like, how would you, if someone had never heard music and you couldn't show them music and you had to describe it to them, they wouldn't get that.
But
you know what I mean? They wouldn't
even
get
think
that.
about when you're jamming with someone and you give them the look.
Yeah, yeah.
And that look could mean anything.
Right.
But somehow you know. That is the craziest shit.
I love it when I'm jamming with someone and like we'll randomly like I'll do like I'll have them with Kyle a lot because we jam like a ton and like I'll be like we'll just be playing whatever and then we'll get like our hits right on. Like I'll just be like strumming a chord and I'll be like bent and he'll be like duh, duh. Like you know what I mean?
Yep.
And get like super, but like not like not even from getting used to like playing the same riff, but just like some random stuff in there that like that I feel like you wouldn't expect if you weren't jamming with a person that you made music with a lot. I love that. Yeah, it's fantastic. But I don't know. There's something.
Did you ever play drums live at like a show?
No,
really?
I'm super scared to do that.
Oh my god.
I mean, I love it. Like that's one thing that I've really liked and tried to do like personally in my music. Like that's why I'm excited about the Ozbadot stuff. It's completely fucking different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like I don't know, like it's kind of like scary in a fun way because it's like
Mm-hmm.
I know that like with enough I can do it. You know what I mean? It's like just fucking like whoa, it's brand new and you're doing a whole new.
Yeah.
You know, so like, and I'm afraid of that. Like, I really love the drummers that like I work with, like, you know, in Catatonia and Tempered, and like I really like. I'm petrified of them coming to a show where I play drums, and
Oh, man.
I'm like,
Get
oh
outta
man,
here.
like shit, it's gonna make me so nervous. I mean, I'm down, you know, I'm in 100%. It's just like I've never done that before, you know, and I mean, it's not like I'm confident that I could like do it, you know, especially with enough rehearsing. It's just like,
Oh no, for sure.
it's
for
just
sure.
like, it's just I don't know. It's kind of
It's
exciting
much
in the way
easier
that's
than you
like
think
nervous.
because like you get to sit down and watch the audience the
Yeah.
entire time. You're watching the audience in the same capacity that you're watching everyone else in your bands. And there's no other circumstance where you play with a band where everyone's standing right here and facing that way for the most part, or like sometimes in. And we'll turn over and shit, but it's like you're also looking the same way as them. And I don't know, for some reason it's very comforting to be like behind a set as you're setting like I don't actually think that band members even realize it sometimes, but the drummer really sets the moment, like the cues for
Yeah.
the audience to be like, oh, we're
Right,
going,
yeah.
like that's why I love
percussionist
playing
is
drums live because
so
you could just like
fucking important
you
to
could
the
drop
band,
out
dude.
and then everyone's like, oh, what is it, and then you could come back really hard and everyone's like, oh. Any
Yeah,
given
dude.
instrument can't necessarily do that, but the drummer can always do that.
Dude, drums, like I like it. They do give all the cues for that kind of stuff, and any like man, they're just so important, like so important. Anytime I've heard a band change drummers, you can immediately tell in my
Immediately,
like
yep.
you know, like it's like it's not always necessarily like a bad thing. Like the other person can be
Yeah,
good too.
no, it's just so
but
stylistic.
like it
very
changes
easy to
the
yeah.
entire like feel of the band, and their music's
Absolutely.
like different, you know. Like that's why I mentioned Placebo in particular with their first album, because one reason that I love their first album so much is that feel that drummer brings on the album. They have a ton of great drummers that work with their band, but that one, it's the feel, it's the way he plays, you know. So like, yeah, but either way, I would love to play drums live. I would love to.
Well,
I can't wait, you know. It's just
Yo, it's crazy because we practiced and we were like, yes, the summer's coming up. We're
Yeah.
about to play all these
It
shows.
was almost time. I know.
Almost time. And then we were just like,
I know.
shit on.
I know. I was like, that really messed me up for a while, because like it was like not only that, and like but Catatonia had just like gone on our first two
I know.
weekenders.
Dude,
we
it
were
was
starting to go on the road. Everything
for
was just
3 bands
hyping
with
up.
you.
Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just like
everything was
like,
falling
here,
into place for the live show, and now it's just like
I was like,
studio
here we
only.
go.
Sorry.
Yeah. Which I mean,
Sorry.
that's great, you know. Like I said, we're gonna get back in the studio soon. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's great. I love recording. Like that's one of my favorite parts of music. Really, is like
Yeah.
I love like making it and then listening back to it.
That's
Like,
my
I'm like,
favorite part.
That's like
Wait, I was saying this to someone the other day. The craziest thing for music, but I actually might go as far as to say is the craziest experience that I've ever had in my entire life was always when I made something and then heard it again and I was like, wow, I made that. That was me. Like that was an empty project and then I
Yeah.
made it what I just heard. And you almost forget it for a second and you hear it and you're like, holy shit. And everything like
yeah.
it's such a it's like an out of body experience because by definition it's like a third party looking at the song for the first time and you're like, wait, oh shit, that was me.
And I don't know if you have
It's
this
crazy.
experience, like, because I know that like you record a lot of your own instruments, but when like I record with a band that we like play live
Oh.
all the time, it's like really
I know what you mean.
it's like there's like things that I didn't notice in the way the other players were playing when
Yep.
we played it live.
Yep.
That I hear back and I'm like, oh my god, like that's
know.
so sick. Like I've hit like I'll go back and like listen to like Catatonia's record, and I'll just randomly text Kyle or Nate and be like, "Oh my god, dude, you're the fucking best! Like I can't believe you thought of that. Like, you know what I mean?" And like, because it's just like when you're, I feel like me personally, at least when I'm playing with a live band, like I'm just like I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm hearing everything, I'm picking up on everything, but I'm playing as well, singing as well.
Yep.
I'm worried about my own like how I'm moving, whatever's going on. You know what I mean? And like. So there's just a lot going on. Like I'm listening and I'm excited and I hear the songs, and obviously you write that way. So it's like, I mean, look, when you're writing with a band, you write that way. Cause I've written with Brendan before too, Zula, and write, like it's just the two of us and we can like write a section, go back, listen to it, think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it,
yeah.
write another section. But like,
Does he play instruments?
yeah, he used to play guitar in Slovenia. He still plays guitar.
Oh.
But he mainly
Brendan,
produces.
like Zula.
Yeah, Brendan.
He was in Slovenia?
That's where I met. Yeah, Slovenia was a 5-piece at first. Zach Cain. We kind of all split off, but like stuck. We stayed, you know.
I feel like I still know all those people.
Yeah, you do. Zach Cain.
Except Zula. I need to meet him.
Well, you met him. You met him at you briefly met him.
Where?
Dante's release party.
At my house?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
The last place. He was there. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
He
that.
totally was. He totally was. But you should talk to him more. He's really cool.
Hell yeah.
But he
Dude, I barely remember most things that happened that night besides spraying the champagne outside. Dude, that was such a fun night. I remember like listening to it too.
Yeah.
That was tight.
I remember listening to it like for the first time.
There were a ton of people that I didn't know there, and they were all super chill.
Yeah,
yeah. That was a good time.
That was a good time. That was a good EP too. Good job, you know.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for like all of the things that have been in the works for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
To finally just be out. So then, like, fresh slate.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best feeling.
Yeah, I've like, as weird as it sounds, I've only had that fresh, like completely fresh slate sort of feeling when doing my like solo stuff recently, because everything else, like with Catatonia and Tempered, like when we were recording the album, we already had a couple songs written that weren't on the album. You know what I mean? So like we'd already been playing those, especially Catatonia, because Catatonia's album, we like, you know, not like we didn't spend a year, like, you know, unfortunately we're not full time right now, so we didn't spend like a year, five nights a week in the studio or anything like that. But like, we did overall spend a year recording that album, and so we had a bunch of stuff written. Like when the album release show, we played like 3 or 4 new songs. I don't, that could be an exaggeration because I don't remember exactly how many songs our set was, but we definitely played at least Carcinogen Lace, which we do on the Steel City Death Club live video, and Fault Lines, which I don't think we've done anywhere, or maybe not Fault Lines, but you get the point. So like I don't get that like fresh slate feeling often, because like while we're recording, we're already rehearsing a song, so by the time we end up recording,
it's even just a mini fresh
because
start. It's like, oh, these main ones that were the focus are now gone, and now just like shift number 2 up to number 1. So, dude, I have like someone asked me the other day, all right, how many singles do you have that you could release like soon? Let me look. I look, dude, there's like 180, but I'm not going to release probably more than like 2 of them, honestly. Because I just sit down and just like picking up a guitar to play. Yeah. I'll make beats and like make songs with full vocals and everything in the same way, just for not throwaways, but just the same way that I would approach it if I was doing it seriously. It's just like, yeah, I'm playing guitar right now. Yeah. So sometimes I'll just pick up a guitar, and what I play without thinking is much better than if I'm trying to play it. Oh yeah, definitely. While thinking about it, you know.
I almost never. I don't know if you feel this way, but I almost never like. It's gonna sound weird, but like intentionally sit down and I'm like, I'm going to write a song right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't do that very often. I did that with
you always stumble upon it.
Yeah, I only kind of did that with Zula, because I don't know, we just like, I'd come up with a riff, you know what I mean, and then I'd go to Zula and be like, hey, like this is what, you know, I'm working with right now, and then he'd lay it down, and then we'd like flesh it out into a song. We'd flesh it out into a song, and then and then I'd go back and sit and think about like some vocals. So that's like that's one thing I liked about that, like you mentioned earlier when you asked me if I wanted to play drums, or like if I'd ever played drums live, and I was like, no, and it's kind of scary, but like I'm excited to do it. It's like the thing that's cool about Oslo is like a different writing style too. So it's like really different. You know what I mean? Mostly there are a couple songs that aren't, but other than that experience, like most of the time I'll be feeling some sort of way, like, you know, life will have me some sort of way in some experience that's going on that I felt heavy about, just like some sort, it doesn't even have to be like good or bad, like just some like intense emotion, and I'll be like just playing guitar, because I play guitar mostly every day, and I'll come up with a riff and I'll be like, all right, and then like I'll feel it and it'll just come. Most of the time I write songs and like for like the bands at least, because Zach G writes a lot of songs for Tempered, and I write my parts, so that's another kind of like different, you know. But for Catatonia, the ones that I had written and brought to the table, and like the acoustic one and the last song that's going to be on the Oswald EP are the same way, are songs that I just like, it was a riff and I was feeling some sort of way, and I just like, it just came out,
Yeah.
I often don't even go back, like, again, barring the examples that I've made, and redo lyrics. Like, I like lyrics the first time, maybe a word or two if I really feel like
The
something
first
isn't
time
sitting
always
well.
has that special sauce to it.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like a feeling. It's like once I'm out of that feeling and out of that moment, it just doesn't come out as good. You know what I mean?
That's why I like to write it as I record.
Yeah.
Because you never come across that bridge.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like you arrive there.
Right. I could feel that.
Plus, even like if I finally get down all of the words, then I could figure out the timing, and if I figure out the timing, I'll put one on once, like to the left ear.
Yeah.
I'll put the new one on the right.
Right.
And then I'll record a third one with some effects in the middle as they're both playing volume down. And that gives you like this crazy sense of what you're actually going for. Then you go back and record the left and the right, and then you pick one and maybe use the effects track. But what I'm saying is like the effects one that you record is going to have all of the missing pieces put on top because you already hear yourself doing it twice.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what could I add on top of this? So then when you go back and record the other two, you already have that same kind of like understanding and competency. That's the word. Yeah. But I mean, sometimes you do it on the first take and it's just got that freshness. Like sometimes I don't even know what I just said, and I have to go back and like listen to it and be like, wait, what did I say?
Yeah, that's like definitely that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a totally different experience from what I do most of the time. A lot of times I do a lot of I do a lot of takes when I'm in the studio with Catatonia. Not like a ton on stuff that's like or tempered really. Or my solo stuff. Like it's just the way I do, like and I'm just better if I'm like, to be like, just my own, the way that I work is that I'm just better if I'm practiced. It's just the way I work. You know what I mean? I can maybe I can get some like sauce down like once or twice, like, but like getting an entire like verse, chorus, verse, like part that I'm taking to be like what I want it to be in like one or two takes on the spot is just unrealistic for me. I feel like I do better, and like it just sounds better if I know what I want to do. You know what I mean? Other than my guitar solos. Now I do a lot of takes on my guitar solos, but they're all improvised. And I like that.
Yeah, but they're
the
improvised
reason.
where when you redo it, you're like, okay, I go here and then I go here, like in those general regions, or you do it completely different each time.
I have almost never in my life played the same guitar solo twice.
Really?
Almost never.
Wow.
With the exception of Juliet. I mean, I'll do if I really like something, like, yeah, I'll go back and keep it. But like, it's just like from knowing, like, I already know the general area to play in, like scales and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then like, obviously most of the time with a band, by the time I get to the studio, we've played a bunch of shows. You know what I mean? Now Oswald, like I said, was different, but like with a band, we played a bunch of shows. So now I'm like, I've played the solo a bunch of times. You know what I mean? So like I know where to go into it. Like, it's not like particular phrases I remember, but like improvising along with the song is something I'm comfortable with.
Right.
So then by the time I get to the studio, I just lay them down, and I'll try like a bunch of different stuff because if I don't like it, I'm not going to try twice. But there are little parts that I'll keep and maybe repeat. But some solos took me so like frustratingly long, so many takes, and I really thank like Johnny for working with me. But like that, just because like I'd be like, oh, I'll keep that part, and I'll play it, and I'm like, I'll keep that part, and I'm like, you know what, this isn't working. I'm just gonna retry the whole thing.
That's why, dude, I've never paid for recording studio time for my own song because I've always found, dude, like literally since 10th grade, I've been making stuff. Like once I learned that I could do anything I wanted here and I didn't need a band to do it with, I was sold.
Yeah.
So I always figured out a way to do it. And like, there's so many people that went to professional studios, or even, this is a good example. Tish's takes on one of his songs that he did in my like Camelot apartment in North Oaklands that was just like a college bedroom.
Right.
It had a tapestry on the other wall, so it wasn't that reflective in there. and I kind of put the mic in a corner with like this other stuff that was kind of not that reflective. We did like a rough take of his vocals on this one song, and his professor from the music school he went to heard that and was like, yeah, that sounds better than this other take. I think I might be getting that story wrong, but I think it was the same song, and he tried the takes at the other one. Tish, correct me if I'm wrong. But he was like, I don't know how I got, because I was using this mic too. I got this mic for $100 with another mic. So it's, I guess, technically a $50 mic if it was part of a duo.
Yeah, yeah.
But it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter the gear. It matters that you have everything you need and enough for each of them. Like, pedals are the only exception, because I'm like, the only thing that's enough for me is, like, everything. But you know what's funny? I never use more than, like, 3 at a time.
Yeah, I've noticed that you have a very dynamic pedal setup. I have a very, like
honestly, I would have them all plugged in if I could. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I was gonna say I have that pedal board and my one set of pedals, and that's what I use.
I'm so jealous, dude. I did the same thing as that. Like, I had a very similar pedal board to you actually in high school, and then I didn't bring it to college, and then I slowly started bringing them here and there, and then I just amassed more and more. Started.
Yeah, I'm out of room on mine also already.
Oh, by the way, Fox Tone Machine #1. Yeah. Next, we're working on fuzz faces that we can mod. So I'm gonna bring like 10 of them over to McKee's Rocks, and we're gonna test them out.
Nice.
Nice. That's gonna be the best.
That'll be a great time.
Yeah, that's gonna be the best day of my life.
Yeah. Oh man.
But after that, I'm making tone benders too.
Ooh.
And I was thinking the real market, like these interfaces where people in their rooms are recording every instrument, right?
Yeah.
Especially people that are recording vocals.
Yeah.
They buy these, but they have nothing of like outboard gear, we'll call it, like pedals, racking, whatever. Right. People will buy, like, there's a huge market for plugins, but sometimes to make a mic sound good, all you have to do is like you need a de-esser, need a little compressor, whatever the fuck, a preamp,
a little de-esser, a little compressor.
Yeah, no, for real. So we're trying to make these little boxes that would go like on top of this that have everything you need for vocals.
Ooh, very
Wouldn't
nice,
that be sick?
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
They make really these other units that like they look exactly like this, but this feeds out to your guitar pedal.
Yeah.
And you could record like your drums from a DAW through the pedal and back. It's crazy, dude.
You're in it. You're like what,
I'm such a music.
They're like,
nerd,
what are
dude.
you gonna do in music? You're like, I don't know. Everything.
Dude, I'm not satisfied unless I like exercise every option possible when it comes to music.
Yeah, I feel
that's what I'm so interested in.
I feel that I'm just not like a tech guy, so I guess I can't
help
about
it.
That much
yeah,
about
exactly.
That. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're like
tech is just
that.
like a secondary thing that you need to in order to like figure it. But it's not like I was into the tech before it. I had to look up how to do certain things when I went to cross that path.
Right.
When I was like, oh, I want to figure out how to like use subs better. I found a sample, and then I started working with audio instead of MIDI.
Right.
Like, instead of having to play it, I found that I was faster just moving the audio, and you could do much more with like just copying a sample and moving it around. But even like if you're recording with a live band, like you need to know how to plug shit in. You need to, like, it's just a means to the end to have to learn the tech. So why not just learn the tech as you do it? You know?
So I know I have Logic, and I know how to run Logic. You know what I mean? I know how to record my own live audio. But when you get into like building pedals and stuff like that, and like building like those boxes, I'm like, ooh, that's more than I am.
It's above my pay grade too, but thankfully Nate knows his stuff when it comes to electrical engineering.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just like, that's sick. I feel that I want to do everything in the way that like I try to play as many instruments as possible. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I try to like do as many genres as possible.
Yep.
Just because the older I get, like the less I'm like, oh man, like this genre of music and that genre of music, you know, and the more I'm just like, man, like,
because there's so many subgenres now.
Everything's it's just all so sick. You know, it's just all so fucking
it's
good.
So
you know what I mean?
Everything.
So I just want to do like all of it, you know, every kind that I can, and play like as many instruments as I can, because they're just like, they're all so awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like
We gotta start playing some jazz.
yeah, I'd be down. That's a style that I don't really play, so like I would love to
Hell yeah.
branch into that.
I feel like you'd be good at jazz guitar.
Nice, yeah, that'd be dope. I love that, dude. Some of the best musicians that I've ever like known, like technically, are all jazz guys.
All jazz.
Yeah, yeah,
All jazz, dude. The best musicians I could think of are all jazz as well.
yeah. So I mean,
Or at least like they, I don't know if all of them are full jazz, but you can tell they're
Yeah.
into jazz, and it, especially drummers, man.
yeah,
Jazz
yeah.
drummers are
Oh, man.
like one of the best musicians across
Yeah.
any instrument. Like jazz drumming is crazy.
The best drummer I've ever seen play live. His name's Ian Evans, and he was my friend Kyle, like bandmate and friend in Catatonia and
Kyle.
Sylvania. Kyle.
Kyle.
And, he
Kyle.
his
I love
dad's
Kyle.
childhood friend. I love Kyle too. Hi Kyle. But
What's up, Kyle?
his dad's like friend growing up is like he drums. He used to teach drums, and he drums in like jazz groups. He does a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Like he's like well versed, but he drums a lot of jazz. And I watched him practice once, and I was like, oh my god, like this is crazy. The best drummers definitely are jazz, and I don't know what it is about that genre of music, but they're just like it's not like my favorite. You know, like I like it, but it's not my favorite. I'm not always like bumping jazz, but
yeah.
they just technically execute the way that you should play an instrument like the best. You know what I
And
mean?
it's all
like,
about feel too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Frampton's pick.
Yeah, that's that's Peter Frampton's pick, and then the other one above it, also his. The one down there, that's the Blue Tortex. That was my pick. That King Cruel came out 40 minutes late on stage with Anthony Fantano standing right behind me from the needle drop. Zachk Cain had just played. He comes out late, high as a bitch, playing the same guitar as me actually in white. The same year and everything of that telly, because it has this little like 60th anniversary thing on the back. He comes out and he's going like this with his hands, which like as a guitarist I was like, oh, he doesn't have a pick right now. And I go, hey, you need a pick? I pull out my wallet with like all these options, and there's a picture I'll show you of it. It's like a great picture. I'm holding up my hands with all these picks, and he chose that one. And then afterwards I walked over and I was like, hey man, what's up? He was like, yo, thanks for the pick, man. we like talked for a good 30 minutes maybe. He was tight.
I remember the band I told you about earlier, the Holy Mess, that I saw at one of the first shows I ever went to.
Yeah.
They were never like super famous, but they're really really cool. I love that band, and they played the Smiling Moose.
Oh damn.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like, but I mean, it was a packed show and everything. But either way, they're from Philadelphia, as far as I know. And
you hear what's in this acoustic guitar right now? I hope it's a pick.
It has to be. What else?
It has to be.
That's the only place we keep them.
There's an art to getting picks out of acoustic
Oh
guitars.
yeah. It's work.
Yeah, it is work.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, if you don't know the art, I guess, because I don't. I mean, like I'm just spend all the time. Giving it a little shake.
There's no
hoping it pops
technique.
out.
It's just an art because it's really fucking impossible to get it out.
I would like to make a 25-minute art school short film about just a guy sitting in a
guy
room
trying to
shaking.
do that's such a good idea.
Yeah. Like cut to different scenes of his life and like shake the guitar more violently as it goes along or something. And
I
the
remember
pick will
when my
drop slowly.
hands were small enough to fit in here that I could just reach around and grab it. Much easier.
What was your first guitar ever?
That first
Oh, that's
act.
right, Walmart one you said
Stratocaster,
earlier.
when
Yeah,
I was 9.
that's
Got it
right.
from Walmart.
Sorry, I was kind
I
of
still have been. I've been using that a lot recently. It's so interesting to play. Give me an E. Thank you, sir.
I have I don't think I had my very first guitar. So my very first guitar was actually before I was 10. Before I really, because 10, I started like taking lessons, and I took lessons for maybe 2 years, something like that. And that was the only time that was when I really started to understand how to play a guitar. You know what I mean? I used to play this like very small, also Walmart acoustic guitar, but it was like it was tiny. You know what I mean? Compared to like any regular
was it
guitar.
miniature?
Yeah. And, like it was like it looked like a child's guitar. You know what I mean?
Actually, there was this plastic guitar in my house with nylon strings growing up that you couldn't really play that well. But there's a picture of me as like a little kid holding the guitar. There was like some
remember.
game where there was this Western music that as the intro, and I would go around and be like,
I just remember my dad I'd ask my dad to tune the strings, right? Or if I broke one, put new ones on it, and he would I don't think like he doesn't play music. Like I'm the only musician like really in my family. My sister sings. She has a nice voice, but I'm the only one that like really plays. And
yeah, same.
he would just like tune the strings to like random because he didn't know standard E tuning, you know what I mean? And I would just sit there and be like bong 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 bong, you know, like
You
make
sit
like
down and
random
you're like-
songs, you know.
4-year-old Zach.
Oh man. Yeah, but that was me. That's how you start. But
The first thing I learned was Smoke on the Water on the E string. Like,
yeah.
I thought I knew how to play it, and then someone was like, "It's the middle 2 strings." Oh, in my first lesson, that's the first thing I learned. He's like, "Oh, nice, you know it. Just play that on the middle 2 strings." And then the second thing was the.
Yeah. The first thing I ever learned was good old E chord. Yeah. First lesson.
The old E major.
There
That's
it
the most
is.
guitar chord possible.
Yeah. Especially when you're like you. I feel like a lot of like when people were doing like flash solos, like like do like the crazy like. It's like the stereotypical like rock star start to like a show, do something wild. But yeah, first thing I ever learned was the E chord, and then I didn't really learn too many cover songs. Like my guitar teacher was like adamant about like before like we'd learn a couple cover songs but the cover songs would be to like enforce a concept, not to learn the. You know what I mean? So he'd teach me like bar chords, you know what I mean? And then he'd be like, learn this cover song that has bar chord, bar chord, bar chord. You know what I mean? Eventually, but a lot of times we just
some
spend
of
like
those sometimes if like one I brought in didn't show one of the concepts, like modes, for example. The song "Whipping Post." Yeah. He was like, I think it's different than it's the same type of progression as like a minor as the home bass with a major a half step above, which you're like, wait, what key would that be in? Because that doesn't happen in keys like. So you have to deduce kind of that, okay, this must be step 4 and 5, because the only time it happens where like 2 major chords are a whole step away is steps 4 and 5. So then it must be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the notes from A major.
One thing that I really tried to do, and it maybe it inhibited me, maybe it progressed me, I'm not sure, is like I don't know a lot of that stuff. I mean, I've picked up music theory like here and there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I know like names for things. Like I know how to do things. Like it's not like I only know my like pentatonic scale, but like the stuff outside of that I know, I just kind of know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I've learned.
yeah.
I sat down and like picked different scales to learn. You know what I mean? And then I learned them, and then I don't know. I'm just forgetful as fuck. You know what I mean? So I just don't remember the names
Yeah.
sometimes. And then especially chords. Like I just learn. Like you've taught me a couple chord formations, and then like I'll just mess around. Like a lot of like how you said like eternal. I just like it's in drop D, but oh my, it's actually been a hot minute. We've only been doing new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah. Open. I might be a little out, but. Podcast guests can enjoy 25 minutes of us tuning your time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. open.
Are you barring? Are you playing the
Not
B
barring
string?
anything. Yeah, I'm playing all the strings from 5 down. So it's let's see, it'd be 10 on A, and then next one down, you're gonna be like 1 behind that.
9, yeah.
Open.
Oh, that one's open. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And then it's like all over like. Sorry, 1 second.
Hey. Boom, boom.
But yeah.
Boom.
I love that fill.
We gotta play that downstairs when we're done
I
with
love
this.
that fill. I love that fill. But okay, so point being is like a lot of those chords and stuff, like I just twist up my hands and I'm like, here it is. And I like that because I think that, okay, this is just my personal thought. No one has to agree with this, but in my mind, the musician that I want to be is like right in between feel and knowledge. Enough practical knowledge that when I'm in a conversation with musicians, I don't sound like I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And enough practical knowledge that benefits me because like a lot of soloing has been practical knowledge, running scales and stuff for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And like learning other solos from people.
I've never learned someone else's solo.
Like Stairway to Heaven, this part.
I've never learned someone else's solo.
I steal that all the time. He pretty much just goes from this A up 2 A's by going.
That's probably
just-
something I should do.
I always fucked around with that with different notes, and that's pretty much same thing there. You could go up,
Nice.
and then like. I'm really just thinking of an A minor here,
Right.
and then
Well, that's right where if you know like the position of the scale that's over that, like that, that's all right in there. Because I like to go back like, I like to
Yeah.
throw notes like that in there. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
I was thinking I was gonna ask. Do you like sweep? I
I
like.
rake. I don't sweep.
Okay.
except-
Yeah. I guess the same.
I just what's that called? Where you go between kind of. I don't transverse multiple, or like. I never hit 3 strings in a row, unless it's a rake. Like just going back and forth. I'll go down, up, down, skip, up. Like,
Oh.
yeah, that's a. It's like good times, bad times. He does the same thing. He goes.
Wow. Learning. So it's 2. It's down.
Where are you starting from?
I
So anywhere, like, start on the A of the A string on the 12. Go like that. And as you hit that note, go up.
Okay.
So each A is down and each
Oh.
C is up. Now do that, but stay with the down for that one.
So down, every up string you skip, you go up a string.
Yeah, it's
Like
every
every
other
upstroke.
every other one. You always go like this.
Okay. Okay. Oh man, leveling up.
Yeah, dude.
I love.
That's such a secret for guitar.
I That's one thing I love about guitar. I've been playing for 14 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
And like it's just like there's always new shit. There's always new stuff to expand into.
My
you know
favorite
what I mean? It's
quote
never
about
out of tricks.
learning guitar, Jimi Hendrix said, "The worst guitarist he's ever seen, he still learns a lot from."
Yeah. I'm gonna practice that like a motherfucker. You bet. Next time you see me. But
yeah, that's a Jimmy Page thing, and Slash kind of used it too.
I sweep, so like I'll like be playing you like if I'm soloing B like a.
That's a rake. That's what I was saying before.
Oh. Okay, yeah. That's what
when you go
I thought
like
you were
notes
saying
in
that.
a row. Sweeping is when you do multiple notes on like one given string. Like you might go like, but you go like, I can't do it. But a rake is just like you're playing.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought for a second there, but then we got off on the other part of it, like where I thought you were saying a rake was the.
I mean, I guess that's kind of a sweep too if you're playing like straight up. Because a rake is sometimes even before a note. You just go like.
Yeah, to
and
give
hit
it that
one
like.
note. That's so funny. Dude,
I
if
do
you're
that.
just like.
It gives it like
one note.
It really does it though. Like I don't know why. Like I like in Delicious by Tempered the. Or I forget. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to give an example right now. But I definitely do that. I like that. I feel like it gives it like. But I guess like I thought you were saying the other thing was the rake, or was the thing you showed me was the rake. But yeah, but if that is a rake, that's what I thought at first. But like I like to do stuff like that. I just different terminology for the same thing, and I try to, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you use a lot of
You know?
passing notes, which is sick. That's what makes it so unique. That's why I'm saying you'd be good at jazz guitar too.
I like to do that because I feel like it makes them flavorful. You know what I mean?
It brings you out of the box. And by box, I mean like this is a box.
Yeah.
And then that same box down here. I like switching between them. So like, if I tried to play it from here to here, I'd have a hard time. Like high up on the lower strings and then lower on the high strings. I probably would be worse because you're kind of just playing the same notes. That would actually be interesting. I should try to fuck around with that. Because usually I try to get from a low note to a high note by like doing that diagonal up, you know? So like this.
See, though, I feel like the way that one thing that I found, which is like totally okay, and I find it even interesting, and I think that's why I learned so many things. Like you've taught me a bunch of cool stuff, you know, really, like that kind of stuff. And I think, like you said, you can
the
learn
old blues ninth chords.
Yeah, and you've taught the minor sevenths with a thumb down here, and I've messed with that so much, like moving
the major seventh.
Or yeah, but moving my fingers around, you know, down like below it, you know, to make like different chords. But either way, we think about the guitar in a different way.
Oh, dude, every guitarist thinks about it in a different way.
Like, cause when you talk about your soloing, that's not the way to think of it. I know, like, I spent. Call me a cheesy guitarist if you want, but I spent.
Everyone loves some Parmesan Reggiano.
and days running my pentatonic scales, every position up and down.
Oh yeah, no, that's
everything.
That's what I'm talking about too.
So like that's when I come to a solo. That's the way I think of it. Like there's like the first position, second position. You know what I mean? So like, you know, like that run is all like first position, and then there's the in between notes in there to give it a little flavor.
That's
but
exactly
I'm coming
what I was
right
saying
back
too.
to that. Oh, maybe I just misunderstood. Yeah.
I'm just going between like the pentatonic below it and then the normal one, and then you like go up continually until like.
Do you ever mess with like running? One thing I found is that you can, and I don't, again, something that I don't really know what it's called, but say like I'm playing an A, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. One thing that I found is that like that pentatonic scale shape works when you're playing. It can work so much. Like it can. So like if I'm playing this right, and instead of playing like. You know what I mean? For A, I want to
play
play
like
like
an A major, and then that's A minor pentatonic.
Right. So then if I throw in like I can go here, and I mean the middle notes change.
That's the beauty of pentatonic. Is like diatonic is the full scale, the major scale, but blues people, they took out like the threes especially, and they just used both. So the beauty behind the pentatonic for blues especially is you could just play major and minor. So like both of those notes. which is the difference
Right.
between A minor and A major.
Nice. Yeah, I just that's what I'm saying. Like I like, so like right now like A and obviously like it's a, I feel like everyone knows like, you know, like A and E standard rock shit, but like when you're playing in A, like you can play what is that? No, it's not E. That's what is that? Fucking
A.
No, if you play F sharp, if you play the pentatonic, right? That would make sense. Yeah, so if you're in A and then like you like I'm working with the, you know what I mean? So like if you stay in the, like when you're in the A, it sounds like softer against the A. And I don't know how to describe that, you know what I mean? Like it sounds like more pleasant. But if I were to go like straight up like the A pentatonic, like or whatever the one that I would is like more just like yeah, it's more abrasive.
Yeah, that's major versus minor right there. Versus like here, play.
I feel like they both work.
Play A to
over
F
that,
sharp
though.
minor right now.
Okay.
So if you
So-
go like if you go major, and then to minor. But then you could also do another one. So if you go like, you play the scale to A major, and then you just play the scale to the next chord, which is F minor, and there you go.
Right, yeah, it'll give it like that. Yeah.
Which is, I've almost
That's a good
been,
thought.
after learning like how to figure out what scale it's in, and then being like, oh, this chord has an outside note, so I should play that outside note. I'll even just skip those steps and be like, all right. So, like, those are the notes in the chord with a little around them, too. Like, and then if it moves to a different chord, just move to that chord and then just be like,
Right, yeah.
you know what I mean? Just like playing the keys to the exact chords you're on. It's hard if the chords are moving fast, but if like I used to be called up on stage during high school graduation parties because my guitar teacher would like play with his bands at these graduation parties, and then as I was sitting there eating food, he'd be like, "All right, Andrew Heron's gonna come up and play with us," and I'd be like, "I am." They'd hand me a guitar, and then they'd play like we played some Johnny Cash song once that I've never heard, and he's just sitting next to me like, all right, B, A minor, and then an E. All right, take a solo, and I'd be like, and just kind of like figure it out, and then once you find it, then you could just be like.
Right,
fuck around with it more.
Yeah.
So I kind of just kept that same spirit because I was just thrown on the spot so many times.
I didn't really start doing stuff. I played the guitar since I was 10 in lessons, and I was like, and I took lessons and I learned like the basics of the guitar, and then I got super into punk rock, dude. Like I got super into punk rock, so the only thing for like years that I cared about was like, you know, just like straight up beefy power chords. And like, I mean, I'm grateful for that period because that's when I really focused on like, especially for the rock stuff I do, but I mean expanded it in general now. That's when I really like started like expanding on my songwriting abilities. Cause like if you think of artists that I liked back then, like a lot of the like Kurt Cobain,
Of course.
who I loved for a long time, was my favorite forever, and I still love the music and the, you know, the legend around the man. But I wouldn't say like what impresses me about that music is like how amazingly technically executed it is,
Yeah.
and how, you know what I mean,
It's beautifully
songwriting.
ugly.
It's just like it's more his songwriting, his lyricism, and his voice.
Yeah.
Like it's not even so much that it's ugly. It's just also not like look how fast I can fucking sweep pick and I can tap and I can fucking do all. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like yeah, you know what I mean? It's just straightforward. Like ass kicking shit. And that, so like when I was into that, before I was into like really like learning how to play my instrument to the best of my ability, I focused on
That's how you need
focused
to
on
get
like
into it.
songwriting forever.
Exactly.
And that period of my life when I was super into only playing like power chords and learning about punk rock and fucking hating the government and everyone, you know, like
Rage Against the Machine.
That's when I was like all like dude, they have some of the best riffs. Tom Morello has some of the best riffs.
Dude, his masterclass is insane. He's just like, all right.
I did the masterclasses. Did I tell you about that? I got on.
Hell yeah, masterclass is dope.
They're sick as fuck. Yeah, I love. Did you take Santana's?
Yes.
I love Santana's.
I learned nothing about how to play guitar, but I learned everything about how to be a musician. His was so dope.
What was it?
Oh,
I can't think of it.
what the?
Fuck. No. It's not one of his songs. He just. I learned a bunch from the Santana masterclass. So like, there's one.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I learned a bunch, but he was more like how to approach music and be a musician. There was a few times where he played stuff and you could like look at it. Yeah.
It's just like moving that bar chord around. I learned that on there, and he also did the. Oh, there it is. So I'll throw those together. You know?
Wait, what is it?
Sorry, I gotta think about it slow. You know? Oh, I messed up. Didn't like that. But yeah, that like, I learned that riff. He plays that in there. He says, because he did it, he was like, and you know, every musician knows this.
I remember that part.
And I was like, I don't know that. So I was like, I better learn that right now.
Wait, what is it?
So it's
Actually, I didn't learn that part.
It's like the minor, like bar chord on the upper.
Oh.
Yeah. And then you just move this, like this formation. So it's, you start open, and you move it down. Like, you ever play this? It's similar concept.
Oh, yeah.
Similar concept. So you're just... Yeah, similar concept. You're just moving these two fingers up and down. So it's... So you're... On this, you're making... And then you're doing...
Wait, am I a different fret than you?
I'm on A. I always end up randomly playing an A because it's the middle of the guitar. So when I touch the guitar, it's like right in front of me. You know what I mean?
Oh, wait, I got it. Wait.
Yeah, but hold your pinky stays in that. It's that power chord.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
It's just like he just did that. That's what I'm saying. He was like, and every musician knows this. And I was like, oh shit, I better learn that shit. You know?
Oh, wait, like. Oh, okay, I see. That's really hard.
I'm used to like moving fingers around a lot when I do that, but I like it a lot. It did take me a little bit to get used to. I found the harder, but if you play if they sound good over top of each other. Oh. What is it? Oh, I messed it up. Now I'm messing up all kinds of... Yeah, but either way, I learned both of those little riffs from Santana, and then there were a lot of cool concepts that honestly I felt like I could use about like as cheesy and hippy dippy as it sounds about like getting into the creative headspace and stuff like that. Like there were a lot of things that he said like that I was like, I'm gonna try that. You know what I mean? Like when he said you practice, and then like on stage you just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say that, but like I don't know, it's cool to hear him say that. And
I loved him talking about how a bunch of them just wanted to play blues back in the late 60s. He was like, everyone was trying to find the second thing that made them like special. And for us, it was Caribbean music, like Latino music. So we did that. And then it cuts to him and he's like,
yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah.
And then that whole episode on drummers, he's like, I love drummers so much that I married one.
yeah. And he talks about like how he like plays like tight, and he also talked about how like I remember
the
briefly,
rhythms ended up being like what he played.
Yeah. And I remember him briefly speaking about like how I don't forget where the music originated that he was talking about, but he said like that like they would get like that there were like a bunch of drum parts, but they were all different because like they would get like he'd be like they'd playing the same thing over top of it, didn't fly with them. I remember that particularly. Mm-hmm. And then also one thing that I thought was really cool that I want to try but haven't is like how he said like playing to like poems and stuff, like reading a poem and playing your guitar. I was like, fuck yeah.
I know, that was
like
the other thing I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
That really stuck with me, probably more than everything in that class.
I wanted to try that, yeah. And then, like, he said also, I know this is super dumb, but, like, they envision the strings from your eyes to your heart and, like, squeeze them before you play. I know that sounds weird, but, like, he said ways to, like, activate your creativity, which isn't really, like, a problem that I have. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, man, I'm not feeling creative enough. Like, I'm fine. But I'm more thinking about it before I go on stage because that's a little bit of a different vibe. But like if you like
completely different.
Yeah, so if you like go to like he said imagine golden strings from your eyes to your heart
Carlos
with your eyes
Santana's
closed until you can like and squeeze them until you can feel them. And I was like, I get that because what he's trying to tell you to do is to like activate the part of you that is imaginative by using your imagination until it's so good that you like think it's real. You know what I mean? Yep. And then when you get up there, hopefully your playing and your performance will be just as like imaginative,
It's wild, dude.
Morello's was good too. Morello's I felt like was a little more practical knowledge based and beginner. Sure. I feel like it's a little bit beginner based. Like but he taught like solos
also
and stuff.
Kind of like you really don't need to know much to do anything.
Yeah,
like, you need to think of different things. Like when he showed the Allen wrench, I was like, what?
Yeah. That's something he's super famous for is just being really creative with the way that he uses his guitar.
The part where he was like, I invented that scratching thing, and his roommate came in who was like tolerating of him playing guitar all the time. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You got a synth? How dare you?" He was like, "That's how I knew I needed to use that."
You know what story of his stuck with me? The one he was talking about seeing the Clash with Joe Strummer, and he was saying that like he used an amp on a chair in his basement, and he went and saw the Clash, and Joe Strummer was just using an amp on a chair, and it like he was like it hit him at that point that these aren't like gods, and it's not like unattainable.
Absolutely.
And he was like, I can do that. That's just a person.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was like, that's a great way to look at it, because like unless I feel like that's one thing I like about seeing musicians live is that it's like they're a person, they're right there, because when you hear a record, to me at least, it's more, you know what I mean? It sounds like you like build up these incredible, like think about it, like some of the heroes of the world and some of like the like they dictate fashion. They go with some of the larger movements that you think about, like the way that music has affected the world. So these people that are like, you think of Jimmy Page, we think of like a glowing god, you know what I mean? We're like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. Like, how could anyone be like that? You know what I mean? Someone like I think of the Beatles. I'm like, oh my God. Like, they're like inhuman. They must be from somewhere else, because who could even make something like that, But
it's crazy to imagine that they could be like they would have childhoods. They'd like have normal shit.
I thought about the other day.
Wake up, take shits.
Paul McCartney's first name.
Brush their teeth.
If you had met Paul McCartney when he was young, you'd have been like, "Hey, what's up, Paul?" And if that's not the most basic shit you've ever heard in your life, and he's probably my favorite musician of all time, maybe.
Yeah,
and so like to think of
him,
like so to think of him when you're like like, what's up, Paul? Like, that's the most, like, he's Paul. You know, if Paul can do it.
Paul, John, George,
That's what I'm saying.
and Ringo.
Now, Ringo wasn't real. Well, that wasn't his real name, though.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you, like, if fucking Paul and George and John can do it, like, so can we, you know? But, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Those are all great. It's just, like, it's nice to humanize it. And one thing that I've really realized and been thinking about a lot, too, is, you know, to be real, sometimes I don't know. I don't know if you feel this way. I have, like, large goals. I know you do, too. I want music to be my life. Like, that's my goal in the end. I mean, I always make music for the music itself for me. When I'm writing a song, I'm not writing it so that I'm not like, I want to craft this song to get popular. I make the music for me. But I want to achieve as many great things through music as I can. It's like, at least I feel like I could speak for both of us, but I also, you know, don't, you know, I'm only me. And I feel like it's just like my path. It's just what I want to do, you know, and what I want to see, what the full potential of my life is through music. So I want to make it. I want to do as many great things as possible. But so like sometimes, you know, being that like when we talked about stuff like Eric Clapton and like how old he was when he played Woodstock, you know, and stuff like that, I'm like, oh man, like I'm behind.
He wasn't at Woodstock. When
not Woodstock.
When Cream broke up, he was 23.
Yeah, I know.
The ex stained glass window designer.
Everyone in music is gonna hate me now for saying he's in Woodstock. Everyone's gonna listen to like that fucking dumbass. But
we'll cut it out.
I was just off on a rant. But either
just
way,
fix it
like,
in post.
His
autobiography is actually right there. I haven't read it yet.
Oh dang, yeah. I've read a couple people's. I should read more. But either way,
I'm still getting through Hendrix's. He actually had an autobiography.
Really?
Yeah, someone
he wrote himself.
Well, he was writing it for the movie they were making about him, but he died during the writing for it pretty much. So someone took his writing and made it into a book, but it's all first person, like all of his words. The other guy just like put it together, and the preface is the guy who put it together saying, if what I was doing was ghostwriting, at some point while putting these together, I thought, which one of us is the ghost? I was like, whoa, this is sick.
Yeah.
It's a great book, though. It's literally just, like, him telling his, like, story as it happens. It's really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd like to read that.
It's really short, too.
I'd like to read
like
that.
His career was only, like, 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Everything you know of Jimi Hendrix as, like, Jimi Hendrix, 4.5 years.
Crazy. Incredible that he affected. I mean, realistically, that's something I've heard about the Beatles, too, which is, like, because I love the Beatles, but is that like for like the Beatles, I think I looked on Spotify because you know how Spotify shows you the little tag of like where they are at I don't know I know Drake's a very opinionated artist. I like, you know, people are very split on him. I love Drake. He's second most listened to artist in the world on Spotify. You know what I mean? It says that. I'm
not one of them.
That's one thing I like about like him is that his career is like legendary. Like it's like he set a record for 8 years straight on the Billboard 100.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like he's like.
No, I mean he's respectable for his music career for sure.
I personally just really like his music, and it's okay if other people don't. But I just really like it.
My cup of tea.
I just think it's interesting to watch someone like that impact. I mean, I love his music, but I also think it's interesting to watch someone that's making that large of an impact make an impact while I'm alive. You know what I mean? That's really incredible.
True.
Like, and I mean, like, he's like set records. He's still like you know what I mean? So that's like that's stuff that's like that we're gonna hear about. We're not gonna stop hearing about.
There's also like Tom Brady who has set records, and I'm like, I still fucking hate Tom Brady. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck.
No, I feel that. I don't feel this way about every pop star. I just also happen to really love his music.
I really don't dislike many artists, but even the ones I dislike, like. I don't look at it as in me dismissing them or not liking them at all.
Yeah.
It's more so just it doesn't tickle my fancy. So it's not my cup of tea.
That's the same way I feel about stuff like that.
And Drake in particular, I love his beats. His beats are always fire. But every time not every time. There are some parts of his songs and then some full songs. But there's far in between where I hear him get on the mic, and if it was anyone else, I'd be like, whoa, this is a cool song. Like, imagine if one of his beats just had like dram on it or something instead. But I think he figured that out, and he was like, oh, I could be the platform for other people to
He does have a lot of
to.
features, yeah, for sure. But
even beyond features, he's like Earl Sweatshirt called him a culture vulture once, which is kind of true. Like he finds someone, and then he's letting them attend to his song by like I don't know. I'm a hater. I'm a hater. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I go as far as culture vulture. Does he have popular artists on his songs? Maybe to stay relevant. Maybe, but he's always had like he's had a lot of like not like trap.
No, it's not even that he just has popular artists on as features to stay relevant. It's more so like his trends build him a little too much for me, and it's every time I hear it, it's more of like, oh yeah, like that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't do it for me.
Either way, I like him a lot, and I think his career is admirable. But the point I was making originally was that you hear about all these crazy artists and how like mystified they are. But like something I've learned just from like especially Pittsburgh recently, and like just any music that's like your music's great. You know what I mean? Daisy Chain. I love Daisy Chain. Like you know what I mean? Like there's so many like incredible artists that are on this level that when you look at it, like Joe Strummer was just playing with an amp on a chair, it makes it rationalizes it to me in a way, and this is why it stuck to me. That it's not just Joe Strummer or Pink Floyd because they made this album or Cream. It's like all these people that we've been watching playing that are playing around us our lives are literally just as great. You know what I mean? Not every single one of them, because I mean, you know, some people are just starting or whatever, and your own personal taste.
It's just crazy when someone's life turns them into like that as the career, and they take over everything, and they're like a phenomenon. It's insane. It happens so quick too.
Right. But oh man, I was high as fuck for a minute of this. I was like, I don't smoke as much anymore, so I was like, I don't remember what I said for a part of it. I mean, I do generally like topics and stuff. I was high as fuck for a minute of it.
Yeah, cheers, brother. I am your father, brother. Wait, I saw this thing of cheers. I saw this. Oh shit. I saw this thing of Hulk Hogan, but it had Darth Vader's face on it, and it just said, I am your father, brother.
Dude, I'm like a gigantic Star Wars nerd, and like
you are?
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Dude.
I
what
love
the fuck?
Star Wars, dude.
Dude,
I love it.
I'm an enormous Star Wars fan.
Much like, and my friend Bala.
How have we never talked about this?
I don't know, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and my friend Bala is also a huge Star Wars fan, and he's even more than me. Like he's like. He reads comics. He he's like
hell yeah.
deep. Like I've read a couple.
My man.
I've read a couple like expanded universe like books and stuff, and I watched the Clone Wars, like the animated series.
Me too.
That was good. But I don't like read a lot of the comics or anything like that. I'm not all up to date on that.
I only know the stories from like YouTube videos.
Right. Yeah, I've seen some of those too.
General Grievous backstory. If Disney made a fucking movie of that, it would be the best Star Wars movie ever.
All right, Sick. This is a room divider. How do you feel about the prequels?
Prequels? Honestly, I like watching them more than the...
Okay, cool. You like the prequels?
Originals
good.
Or the sequels?
I love the prequels. A lot of people really don't like them.
They're different. It's hard to compare the originals to the prequels, but...
I love the originals.
I like rewatch... Like, the prequels are more rewatchable.
Yeah.
And there are scenes that are iconic.
Super iconic.
For example... When Obi-Wan Kenobi is chasing Jango Fett and he's dropping those bombs in the asteroids.
Yeah, that's sick.
Bro, before I even knew what Home Alone was, where other people were like other places where I could just have the living room and blast something, I would put in the DVD to Attack of the Clones and just skip to that chapter on the DVD menu and just put it up all the way on the stereo.
Yeah.
That's probably how I got into sound design, honestly. I was like, I want a guitar so I can recreate the sound of Jango Fett's depth charges.
Man. Dude, the prequels, I love the prequels. And a lot of people don't like the prequels.
I love the prequels.
I mean, I love all of Star Wars, even the new Disney ones. But I will say Episode 9, the ending kind of pissed me off. Not gonna lie, wasn't my favorite twist or turn about Star Wars, but whatever. I still liked watching the movies. I enjoyed going.
I'll take more Star Wars films over no Star Wars films.
Me too. And also, I
went to go see that by myself.
9. I had one buddy that I used to go see every new Star Wars movie with, but the last one I think I saw was the Zachk. I saw the last one I only saw one time. All the other ones I saw in theaters multiple times. But either way, I would say that the offshoots are better than the new trilogy.
Like the Mandalorian.
I like Solo and Rogue One. I think
I
those
agree.
are really
I
good
agree.
movies.
Yeah,
Rogue One is like,
I liked The Last Jedi the most of the sequels.
really?
Yeah.
Really?
The Force Awakens I enjoyed because it was a new Star Wars franchise. Yes, they rehashed A New Hope a lot, but they had to kind of do that to be like, all right, we're Disney making this now. Like a new generation, like Star Wars is coming out now. That was a decent movie, and then the newest one was, there were parts, but it wasn't my favorite. The Last Jedi was the one that I left, and I was like, whoa, there were some cool parts.
Honestly, I totally agree.
Hell yeah.
8 was the best. 8 was the best out of all of them, in my opinion. No, I actually completely
The part
agree.
where it goes silent and she goes to hyperspace and cuts through the other
The
giant
thing that
ship,
I like the most
shit's
about this
crazy.
might be like a basic thing I like about it, but like it never, every time that it comes up to a part where I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the typical Disney fluff ending where they're gonna do this, they get their asses kicked, and it's and like the heroic moment that you'd normally see doesn't happen. You know
But
what I mean?
also think
All
of it this
through the
way:
thing.
Disney's are so different because in the prequels, especially, people got their fucking arms and limbs cut off all the time. Their heads cut off. Name one time where someone's limb got cut off in the new ones. I'm about to write to Disney and be like, we need more limbs detached from bodies.
Absolutely.
Or I'm out. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
I will watch every Star Wars thing
me
ever.
too. Forever. Yeah.
Even if they all suck,
if they're
I'll still
terrible,
watch.
I'm still buying. Yeah, Star Wars has locked me in as a customer until I die. But
I used to have the definite guides, the books growing up.
Yeah, I had a bunch of those. Like,
that was the main thing I read. Honestly, I learned so much from just reading those and be like, oh, breathing apparatus. What is the word apparatus?
Great, dude. Star Wars is great.
What's your favorite like movie in particular to watch? Like if we were to watch one right now, what would you recommend?
Oh, that's a lot of pressure because anytime someone asks me what I recommend, I'm like, oh shit, like now I try to recommend something that we all would enjoy, but
crowd pleaser.
My favorite movie. Well, yeah, I mean, because it's not like it's just like if you're like chilling with everyone, like if I'm like I want this movie, and then everyone's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I don't give
like,
a fuck.
Oh, whatever.
But be like, yo, this movie's dope. If other people have problems, I'm like, yeah, there you go. No, you still saw it, so
no, it's
let's
just
still
like
talk about it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's just like
about.
I don't know why I think like that, but it's just I mean, like it's not like I do everything to just be like, oh man, but like when I'm hanging out with people, I'm like,
no, I know what you mean.
Something to make everyone feel like they're like involved, they all like it,
right,
you know.
Right.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
The musical.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, with Johnny Depp and
the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
It's so. I love it. I love it. It's one of those movies where like, do you plan on seeing it? Or spoiler, it's not allowed, because like, it's just like, it's kind of the same thing I like about 8 is that like.
That's Tim Burton.
Yeah, but nothing like not like it. They just like. Nothing ends well. You know what I mean? And it's just like a lot of movies, like there's like things end well. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like the typical movie ending when I think of like the typical movie hero. It's like the sun sets as they ride off into the distance as they made everything good happen. But like Sweeney Todd and like and the end of 8. I mean the end of 8 was pretty positive, but like it's just like they get defeated so many times. Like when you think they're not going to.
It's like The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, so it's
like
just
the villains win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there's something about that's like maybe I'm just bitter, but it's like I'm like realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about Star Wars in particular? Which episode is your favorite?
I go back and forth between 2 and 3.
2 is my favorite, but I also like 3.
3's
the only
incredible.
Problem is I don't like anything that Padme is a part of in 3 pretty
why?
Much because they overdo it. Not at the end though. When she dies, that's fine.
I love so
just the writing. The writing isn't as good in 3 as it is 2 for Padme.
Oh man, I don't know.
Because at the beginning she's like this strong politician, and then by the end she's just like this girl who doesn't know anything about life except like the person she's obsessed with.
Well, okay, so I mean, I think like. I don't know. Maybe that was just like the way I think about it is maybe that was just like the progression of her life. You know what I mean? She was like
True.
younger in the first one. She'd already, and if you think about like her life story, like she was like by the time you meet her in the second one, I mean you meet her in the first one, but by the time you're seeing her in the
Right.
second one,
You really
she was
get to
already
know her,
she was
yeah.
already queen.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
had already been in the Senate. Like that's her life. And then she did the battle with the guns and the shit in the arena.
With
like
the guns and the
those
death
were all
and the
like
bombs.
that's her
And the
life up to that
sabers.
point. So by the time you see her in 3, she's like, I met my man, like I'm having my family, like I was already queen, I already
Right.
battled in the arena, you know. What else do you
True.
want her to do, you know? That's like saw this thing about the engineer of one of the Beatles albums, and like is just the guy twisting knobs, you know, just the studio engineer, and he was like, what do you do after you make this album? He's like, I've just been like catching up on my sleep, you know what I mean? Like I did it. Like, you know? Like, I mean, he said he still records stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's like he is like, it's like Padme, she did all
Right.
that shit. Now she's like chilling out. Now he's catching up on it. He made the Beatles record. Now he's catching up on his sleep, you know?
True. So what do you think about scary movies?
Okay, so there are, I will say, Sinister,
Sinister?
scared the fuck out of me. Good movie. I like old
Terrifying.
slasher movies. Terrifying. Sinister messed me up. You know that
Old
scene?
yeah, go ahead.
You know that scene where they have him like walking through the hall and the kid's ghosts are like disappearing behind him, and that's like what the creaks in the houses are. Fuck them for
Yeah,
making
I
that
know.
scene. Because now every
know.
time I'm by myself at night, I'm like, oh man, the ghosts of the kids fucking walking behind me. But
Classic.
then that one that what is it? It's Jordan Key that makes horror movies from Key and Peele?
Oh, no, Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Sorry, I'm not.
Get Out? Us?
So I saw it in theaters. Which one was it that the people were living like above ground and underground?
Us.
And yeah, that one.
That one was great.
It's
Bro,
good.
you need to watch his version of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
They have 2 seasons out on CBS. Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
I like old slasher movies too. I believe
It's not
you.
scary. It's not
No,
scary at
oh,
all.
I
It's
was
like a
gonna
Black
say. I
Mirror
was gonna
kind
say.
of.
Oh, okay. I've never really watched Twilight Zone. I like old slasher movies because they're not comical, but they're not intense. You know what I mean? The
I know what you
effects and
mean.
stuff. Like it's like you can
Like
chill out.
Halloween.
Yeah, you can like chill out and watch that. You know, like the bad guy's not coming to get you. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can tell. It's like, but
Like what ones besides Halloween?
uh,
Because that's like the king of that era.
what it's Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Which one's I get them all mixed up because I'm not really.
The first one is The Mother. Jason's not shown in the first
Okay,
one.
yeah,
The
yeah.
second
What's,
one he's shown. I like the second
What's
one.
Freddy
honestly.
Krueger's movies called? Nightmare on Elm Street.
Street?
Yeah, and then the first scary movie I ever saw was Freddy vs. Jason. My friends were watching it, and I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I went over and watched it anyway. I was super young. In general, though, I like kids movies. Like I don't like to go home from life's stressful enough, and I say this like a million times, and I don't like being stressed out from. I don't really watch a lot of like super dramatic stuff. I don't. Watch
I know what you mean.
I don't like. It's just personally, it's just the way I feel. Like I'll like my grandma. What's up, grandma? I'll go over, hang out with her once in a while, I'll say what's up, and she like watches like the crime scene investigation shows.
Right.
You know, you saw walk in and they'll be like, the man was murdered and shot 30 times and now he's laying on the ground. And I'm like, I don't want to, this is not entertaining to me. This is like freaking, like, this is like making me like, oh man, like, you know, life is stressful enough. Like, I don't want to watch like all these things that are super stressful and heavy happen. Like, I just kind of want, like, I just want to laugh a little bit, you know, maybe learn something, you know? So a lot of times I don't watch like horror movies or dramas or stuff like that. Every once in a while, like I'll watch like a good one or something if it's like recommended to me a bunch, just because like, you know, like all that stuff's like art too, so there's like something there that's like probably like pretty incredible, you know. So like, but other than that, like at least at this point in my life, like I just like that maybe when I'm old and there's nothing going on in my life and I'm just like sitting in a chair, I'll be like, let me watch all these dramas so that I have I'm used to. But
dramas are like one form of they're like tense. But horror movies are like it's easy to do them wrong and hard to do them right. But when someone does it right, it's crazy how the writing can make you feel something that powerful.
You know what?
Just by watching a movie.
That's a really good point.
That's why I like them.
I mean, I think the whole thing with art is to make people feel something. You know, that's the whole end all be all. So
and
if
then
they're making you feel that
where
emotion,
something happens, like your version was when the kids are walking behind
and it like
Ra's al
sticks
Ghul.
with you.
My version, growing up, I saw The Ring when I was, probably like 11 or 12. And have you ever seen that?
No.
So you
I
watch
know
like this.
basically the video.
Exactly. Yeah, you watch the video. 7 days later, she like comes out of the TV. So this TV would just turn on out of nowhere, and then this like girl would walk from a well out of the TV and kill you. Right. So going to sleep as a kid with a TV in my room, I was like, fuck. I wish I didn't see that movie. Those are kind of like side effects sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's also that goes to show how good the movie is.
Yeah, it's
But-
kind of that's what I was gonna say. It's kind of neat. Like that person made that and it stuck with you. Like
yeah, but there's always sometimes those little moments where you're like, oh, fuck you. Like, why'd you have to
like
show
now
me
I'm just
that?
gonna be stuck with that forever.
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
frightened for the rest of my life. Did
But,
you
I
like
mean-
go to haunted houses and shit when you're?
No,
a
I
kid?
hate haunted houses. I'm
Really?
not a fan at all.
Do they freak you out, or you just don't like?
I've
them?
only been to a few, and I was like, I didn't really enjoy that.
Okay, yeah. So like when
The
I
whole
was
time I'm kind of just like waiting because I know it's
Something's
coming.
gonna
I don't
jump
like
out,
knowing
yeah.
that it's coming and then being surprised still, just because it's not very It's not creative enough for me. Where like a good
fair,
horror movie needs to also make me think a lot.
yeah,
Like, oh wow, like that's an interesting slice of life.
yeah. I could feel that. I could feel what you're saying about that.
Yeah, haunted houses are more just scares
They're
for the
direct,
sake of
yeah,
scaring
yeah.
people.
I think they're fun though. I mean, well, so
They're
when I
fun.
was a kid, the embarrassing childhood moments. When I was a kid, the first time I went to a haunted house ever, I went in the first room. This made me think of it because you're talking about the TV and the static. So I was scared of everything when I was a kid, dude. Like I was like, oh man, stuff's freaking me out. So like I went to this haunted house with my friends, and like they asked me if I want to go. I was like, fine, okay, because I'm going with you guys, whatever. So I go there and I walk in the first room of the haunted house, and it's pitch black with just static TV. I mean, to be fair, as I mark everything in time, I wasn't playing guitar yet, so I was younger than 10. I don't know how old I was, but I was like I was a child, and like I walked in, lights were out, TV stack was on. I started crying. I was like, I'm leaving. That's it. Like, and I didn't go out to a haunted house until like I was like a full like adult, because like. I don't know, I just didn't. It wasn't the best experience, and then I just never did that. That's just never been my thing after that. And then I ended up going with my friends years later, and now like I don't. They're some of them are scary, like some parts of them are a little bit like freaky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they're just kind of fun now. You know what I mean? I don't find the effects aren't good enough. Like I mean, I've never been to like an intense one, but like a super intense one. But the ones that I've been to, it's not like I know the things are coming. The effects aren't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like super seamless. You can see stuff that's going to happen. So I'll just
it's
be
like going on a roller coaster. Like after
Yeah.
you're done with it, your body's tingling a little bit, but you're back to normal.
yeah, it's
right?
just not like, it's just like, I just know. And like you can tell the animatronics and the makeup, but it's just fun. I like, if you like grow with a group of people and it's Halloween time and there's scary stuff scary, you can't see the air quotes guys, but air quotes scary stuff around, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, it's just fun to go with a friend. That like when I was a kid, it scared me. But now it's just like I know this is coming, and I like going to those just because they're fun. See, that's different though. Like I'm with my friends, it's an experience. I'm gonna
Same thing with
hang
scary
out.
movies. If they're like a social thing.
Oh yeah, I'll watch almost any movie, whatever, if I'm hanging out. You know.
That's why old slasher films were cool too, because they were kind of a group thing to do too.
Every time I drink this drink, I like.
I know. I
down,
keep hitting this,
and it's like, and it like shoots up like a little bit of the drink like on.
It's because these cans are so fucking thin.
Yeah, like
90
a Red
calories though. How about
Bull.
that?
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, for real, I did not really enjoy scary movies until my friend Paul told me that he watched scary movies late at night to be extra scared and laugh at himself. And I was like, I've never thought of that. So I tried it, and like it's kind of funny walking into a room, like turning on the light and being like checking around and behind you and shit.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I can see how it's kind of funny. Like, because it's like, it's ridiculous.
I still attain to that level of like.
It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
realistically,
it is,
you know
ridiculous.
nothing's going to happen. Like,
Exactly.
like it's not, the
But then you
person
start
with the
thinking
nicer
like,
fingers
oh, maybe I
is in your
should be
closet.
afraid. Like, what if someone breaks in right
Yeah.
now? But it's funny. You gotta
Yeah,
face
that's why I
fear.
think
You
that,
gotta
like,
face fear,
yeah.
and like those movies help you do it. And some have really good narratives to them too.
True, I could feel that. I could feel that perspective on them.
Like
For sure.
The Shining. That's a great example. That movie's terrifying.
I'm not sure if I know it's a legendary with Jack Nicholson, right? That's like
Yep.
one of his that's one of his
Bro, I
roles.
rated. I've been really into movies and actors like writing down all of the best movies from like different times. So I know what I haven't seen so I can watch it, but also just kind of like build this list. Anyway, I ranked the best actors / actresses based on who consistently gave an amazing performance and their roles between movies were very like wide. So, picture Brad Pitt, Bill Murray, and Jack Nicholson, right? Or Jack Nicholas. No, Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholas, Saint
Jack
Nick.
Nicholas, the golfer, Saint Nick.
Jack Nicholas is a golfer. I had no idea who that
Yeah,
was.
yeah. He's like the best golfer of all time.
Oh dang.
Yeah. He was like 70s, 80s, I think. But no, like Brad Pitt, Bill Murray, Jack Nicholson. Jesus Christ. All of them in every movie they're in are completely different characters, but they're always great. That's what I ranked it off, and I put Jack Nicholas as number one.
Okay, so hear me out. I know this is a cheesy actor to like, maybe, but what about Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp, I think, was number 4.
He's pretty incredible. Like he goes his range of roles is pretty ridiculous. Because you think of him as like that weird eccentric character.
Not always.
No,
like
exactly.
Secret Window.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. Rum Diaries.
Rum Diaries. Oh my God. Yeah. You know he was like best friends with Hunter S. Thompson and lived with him for a while.
No, I had no idea.
Dude.
Did you?
Fear and Loathing.
Have you seen? Fear and Loathing. That's a legendary one too.
Rango.
Public Enemies.
I
love
man.
Public Enemies.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Hell yeah.
I wrote a song about that movie. Yeah, I haven't used it for anything yet, but I was watching. It's actually like this year because I'd seen it when I was younger, and then recently it was on Netflix, and I started watching it again. And I was cat sitting for a friend, and I was just like. I like was staying over their house because I love their cats. I wouldn't spend as much time with them. So I was chilling in their house, and I was like, I just was watching Public Enemies, and it was just like inspiring, like that 30s gangster kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was just I was just inspiring. Like I felt like it like put me in it. Like I was like a little kid. I was like, I want to be a 30s gangster. You know what I mean?
Hell
like,
yeah. Did you ever see Peaky Blinders?
No, but I've heard of it a bunch.
If you liked Public Enemies, you'll love Peaky Blinders. It's the same thing. It's 1919 for season 1 in Birmingham, England, and it's all about post World War. Like the main group of people were all tunnelers in World War One, and they pretty much like were about to die, but somehow still survived. So they're all living with a chip on their shoulder, like, oh, every day is extra. So this family comes back home. The oldest is more of like an animal, like physical. He'll fight anyone, but he has no brain. Tommy, on the other hand, the second oldest, is all brain, and he's physical too, but he's like 8 steps ahead of everyone else, and the entirety it was Netflix, one of their first like original TV shows, so the production value is off the charts, and all of it is crazy for like the aesthetic for 1919 through 19. I think they're up to like 25 or something now.
Oh wow!
But its story makes you feel like you're a part of it. Like
Dang.
After you watch it, you're like, fuck yeah! Like
I'm
a Peaky fucking blinder.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that watch that. Yeah,
I've been
just,
a fan since it came out.
Dang.
I'm
Yeah,
big fan.
I've never seen it. I've just heard of it. But I feel like if you're comparing actors that can play a lot of roles, man, I'm telling you, Johnny Depp. Also, not to
I'm
flex
pretty
for
sure
Johnny
he was
Depp
number
plays
4.
guitar. You know,
He does. He played
on
with
our
the
side.
Black Keys at the Grammys once. I remember.
Nice. Then he had a band too.
He did. Yeah.
Yep. I feel like he's played on stage with a couple like notable names, but I don't remember them all.
Yep. No, I'm pretty sure it was Jack Nicholson, Jack Nicholas. Brad Pitt, Bill Murray, Johnny Depp, and what the fuck is their name? It's a woman. She was in like Misery. What the fuck is her name? Kathy Bates. What's crazy about her is she's been in blockbusters, but she's also been in very, very small roles, and each time reinvents herself. So again, my criteria was based upon how well they acted, but also they needed to act very like in a large variety of different
Right.
characters, you know, like character actors. That's what I based it on. But no, Rum Diary was sick.
Have you ever tried your hand at acting, Andrew Chris?
I have.
Oh, really?
I took an acting class at Pitt.
Oh, really?
Did you ever
Oh,
meet
dang.
Bjorn? I used
No.
to make music with him.
Maybe. What do you play?
He moved back. Excuse me. He was mostly a vocalist.
Oh, maybe not.
But him and I took the same. It was called Intro to Performance, and we did all these different small scenes. But the final project was you had to pick an entire. It wasn't like an act. It was more of like a single, like set piece. It depended upon what play it was, or I think no, we all did plays actually. It was all like where the setting didn't change at all. It was like one long dialogue with each other that was kind of like the heated part of the play.
Okay.
Right? It was always one-on-one. It was only two of us. Bjorn and I did this thing for it was called True West. Gary Sinise, who plays Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump.
Nice, yeah.
And then John Malkovich. Both of them, that was their first time acting in a movie. And they just like made this this movie based on a play pretty much. And it's just them, the entire movie. So my character was someone who went to his mother's in Bakersfield, California. That's about 4, maybe 3 hours north of LA. So I go there because I'm really trying to type out my next film. My brother comes back, who's a fucking dirtbag. He heard that I was watching the house for my mom as I was writing the story. And at first I'm just like, yeah, I have coffee. Oh, is it good coffee? Yeah, like kind of like annoyed with them at first. And it's interesting because over the course of it, they completely flip. So it was kind of hard to do,
Yeah,
but
I
we
bet.
did it pretty well.
Nice.
Because we practice it so much, and we already kind of talked like we were talking, like
Right.
like we acted the way we normally kind of communicate with each other in it, and it was cool. So after we did that, we actually sat down and wrote this scene for us going in Oakland. There's this little table on the end of a patio that no one's ever at. So we just like filmed with different camera angles, like this thing that we wrote for two people that meet that are like Pittsburgh musicians. One person is more prepared, one person is less prepared. And we show how it's always a back and forth between like one person is more competent at one thing and will lead the other one if they choose to help them out versus the other and vice versa. And at times where like they don't agree on the same thing and they move on to the next subject, it's part of it. You're like, you're almost trying to find the missing piece of your own puzzle, but you want to help find other pieces for people. So we were talking about like our taste in coffee, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the Jamaican coffee's the best," and I go, "Oh no, this is my favorite." "Oh, I've never had yours," and we trade drink. And then at the same time we go, "I like yours better. Like, do you want to trade?" But it was pretty well done. Like it was just supposed to be two people that run into each other.
Being a musician,
It
That's
is.
a solid
No,
metaphor
all
for
of it
being
was
a
just
musician.
metaphors for being
Yeah.
musicians. Yeah.
Like really, especially like because I know a lot of people, even some people, like listen to musicians and they're like, "Oh my god, they're so good, I'm no good." You know what I mean? Like it's. So I
Yep.
feel like getting like once you like you like always strive to be the best. Once you get that little, you're always like getting and giving little pieces. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's always a give and take.
Incredible.
Like you need to find the people that are going to bring the compliment for what you're doing. That's like
Yeah.
opposite, but also beneficial.
Yeah.
We never put it up though. We should. Definitely should.
Do it. Yeah, I've never really acted. I'd always kind of like, I mean, that'd be sick. You know what I mean? That'd be so much fun. I had a friend that was writing a movie, and like I was like, he asked me, I was like, hell yeah, like I'd love to do that. But it's just, you know, it was a lofty dream. He had never quite gotten to filming, and then I'm excited because Tempered's doing the music video, because that's like, I know it's not
Hell
like
yeah.
acting, but like it's enough acting that I'm like,
It's shooting something.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it's gonna be like, it's shooting something, and it's gonna be like a real like music video, not just like playing it live. So it's gonna be, I don't know about a narrative, but I'm at least gonna be doing things that I'm not aren't just natural.
You wouldn't be doing
like, it's
otherwise.
happening. Yeah, it's like okay,
yeah.
and then Zach Cain jumps off the, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be unique, and I'm kind of really excited to try that. Like, you know
Hell
what I mean?
yeah.
I've always kind of thought that'd be really cool, and like,
It's for a new
it's never
song.
happened before. Shred It, which is like not super new. But
I've heard
like,
you guys play that. I
yeah, it's been out for months now. Like, we put out 3 singles in like maybe late 2019 to like a couple months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and those are yeah, it was the first one of those, I think. But either way, we're just kind of like going back doing some music videos because like it'll be fun, and you know they are reasonably new content, so like, you know, I'm just really excited to film it. I don't know, it's
I'm
gonna be
trying to
so
make
cool.
a music video for Bike,
Nice.
and I'm trying like that song is all about like this is everyone I know, and like this is why it's sick is because I'm traversing like this trail while biking, while like I'm just intaking the rest. Like
Yeah.
I don't want me to be the source of the narrative. I want everything else that I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pittsburgh is so beautiful that might as well just go out and do it. But at the same time, I'm trying to think of more things to shoot inside.
Yeah.
Because I used to do music videos like strictly inside because it was always so fucking cold when I was
Right.
doing them.
Yeah, fair.
And then in the summer, I'd film some stuff outside, but there was always less people around. But I mean, now it seems like everyone's down to start working on stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that. I think we're doing ours, spoiler alerts to anyone that listens, at a skate park, mostly. Which I'm excited for. A bunch of like skater friends. It's like a up your like alt rock song, you know. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I don't really know all exactly what we're doing. I think it's gonna be a lot of tempered's a lot of like off the cuff. So it's not like that's why like maybe narrative was like the wrong word. Like I don't think there's like a direct story that's gonna run through it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But I'm still excited. I'm still really excited to do that. Because we've never done that before. I think the guy that's doing it's name's like Marcus or something. I'd shout him out, but I don't remember. I don't remember all of that because I'd never heard of him before this. I'd never met him, and then I think Zach G found him. Yeah, I'm really excited to do it though. Yeah, I think we're starting November 14th is the date, so like maybe like a little under a month, you know.
what do you think live venues should do about reopening?
So, I mean, outside shows were the move, but it's about to get cold. You know, for a second there, I really thought that was the move. I know I see some people being like, you know, shows don't have any shows, you know, because we're in the middle of a global pandemic and stuff. And like, I feel that, but I've had a couple outside shows that were very successful with 0 cases of anything developing after, you know. No one that was there was.
I've played like 3 outdoor shows.
That's what I'm saying.
No one got anything.
Right. And like a lot of, as long as like the people that aren't like super high risk for having a major malfunction of their body, you know, don't, I guess, choose responsibly on their own whether they would like to show up or not.
It should be left up
like, to them, I guess, but like, you know,
music and comedy, they just got fucked.
I know. Yeah.
Everyone else was like, "Oh, we need to save these restaurants."
Yeah.
But then all these music venues are just shutting down.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Rest in peace, the Rex. But like masks, I'm all for. But every show I've had, it has had masks and hand sanitizer sitting around available. Super simple.
You could definitely still do that and have shows, but they're just choosing not to have shows.
Yeah. And if you stay like, you know, I mean, like if I'm with someone I've known, not known, but like I've seen throughout this and see regularly, like, you know, I mean, I'll be near them because, I mean, I guess there is still a possibility that they have come into contact with someone else. I'm still opening my possibilities a little bit, but if someone
still,
I see regularly anyway, like I'll be close to them, but, you know, just generally staying spread out. So outdoors were the move, but I think even indoors maybe could be possible. I've heard talk of, just limiting capacity, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'd love to just go back in there and throw.
Small shows are fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I don't see why.
Plus, a big venue with like medium amount of people, it's still a big show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess at the very least, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely want everyone to stay safe. You know what I mean? Like I don't want
Yeah.
anything bad to happen, but at the same time, like
There were some
my
cool
entire life,
virtual
everything
shows.
has like need to come to not everything studio and stuff, but like
Yeah.
you know,
I know
a
what you
lot
mean.
of things come to a halt.
It's a lot of moving parts, and
Yeah.
sometimes a few of them start to move together, and you notice and you go, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. Just hopefully, we'll be able to get back to a regular show kind of thing. At least
Yeah.
having venues, being able to have people back in,
Mhm.
because I need it. I feel like a lot of people need that like release and thing to do. Venues are gonna close down. You know, live music is one of the great like art forms of humanity.
Mhm.
You know,
But even, dude, living in Southside, being able to work on music all night and then walk over a few blocks and go to the Smiling Moose,
Yeah.
even, and someone's playing there, and there's 30 people there.
yeah. Which is, I mean, like that'd be a start. You know what I mean? That'd be a start.
Yeah.
I've heard
I've seen that
rumors
place
like
with like 100, 150 even.
it's packed.
If with like COVID restrictions, you could fit maybe 20 people upstairs.
Yeah, it's small up there. But I mean, I just think that I mean, even that would be better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And would get things back in the swing where venues have some money coming back
Yeah.
in, so they don't
You know what's
have their
weird?
issues.
Have you noticed the slowdown in album releases this year too?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean,
I feel like all my artists have only released like maybe a single.
yeah.
There haven't been many albums.
Yeah, I know. I know a couple people, and
There's no song of the
personally-
summer.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know. I know some. I mean, I know we talked about him earlier. You're not the biggest fan, but Drake dropped something mixtape, Dark Lane mixtape, and then he dropped a couple new singles. But I know some that have, you know, Tempered, like I said, has put out 2 singles over this. Jack Swing just put out a new EP.
Yep.
Albums maybe not as much, but well, TV's Norm just put out a new album. But either way, and on the big time, I don't know. I do know a couple people that I've heard been saying like they're gonna be patient and wait for the end of this, because like I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea personally.
Me neither.
Everyone's at home right now. If you drop albums right now, not
Yeah.
everyone's at home right now, but I was thinking this before when
Everyone has more time
when
right
things
now.
were more restricted. I was
Well,
like,
you know,
everyone's like, especially when the lockdown was a little more intense.
yeah.
I was like, everyone's at home right now. You drop an album, like they don't have shit to do but stream your album.
It's like Tiger King.
You know?
Tiger King was like the most successful documentary series of all time
Yeah.
because it was perfectly timed.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm saying. Like if you dropped it when everything was like in super tight quarantine,
Yep.
like what else are people doing? They might as well listen to your album. So I disagree with people who say the wait till after, but I will say that I have heard people talking about waiting until the end of Corona. And I mean, a couple of my projects might not drop for a while. And who knows what the end of Corona? I mean, it's like an illness. So like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it'll kind of always
No one
be.
fucking knows, dude.
I feel
no
like-
one knows a fucking thing.
I feel like it'll always be there. You know what I mean? We might get
Oh, yeah.
vaccinated, but it's even if we get vaccinated,
It's like H1N1's still here.
that's what I'm saying.
just-
It's not just gonna go away. It's not gonna be an
Yeah.
end. We're just gonna come up with some sort of hopefully
Wait,
vaccination
I found the
solution.
day that I consider the COVID pandemic over is when Disney starts doing their nightly fireworks again.
Okay,
'Cause
that's it.
That's like a huge moneymaker,
Yeah,
and they do it every fucking night.
Right.
And they've stopped doing it this entire time.
They're
Once that
open,
starts
aren't
again,
they?
they're open, but they
Yeah.
don't do the fireworks. That's a big change.
that's like.
To shut down Disney's fireworks.
Don't you think that's kind of messed up? Disney World's open, but we can't play shows inside at venues.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
You know what I mean? Like
People
I get
are,
it. Like
people
be
are going
safe,
into
but
stadiums to watch sports.
people
and-
are going into bars and
Yeah.
and like I mean they have to get food right now. Like they can't can't get drinks without food, but people are still going into bars and drinking. But
Yep.
like we can't have shows.
Yep.
you
I
know?
guess we just got to hit the restaurant scene, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've been trying to play outside. Like I said, we have that one hopefully coming up. And
Oh, wait. Did I tell you one day I was working on music at 1100, my old place?
yeah,
I heard this cymbal bell outside, like bouncing off the buildings. And I stick my head outside. I'm like, what the fuck is that coming from? That sounds like live drums. I thought someone was playing like a show in one of the bars.
yeah,
So I walked down the street right on 12th and Carson. Someone had a minivan parked with this converter that they plugged a PA, drums, bass, guitar,
Dang.
Oh wait, no, they did not have a guitar. I walked over. I called Ben Bush G. I called him. I was like, "Yo, come to 12th with me. We're just gonna hang out here." And then, um, what happened first? Oh, both of us walked up and we said during their break, "Could we jam?" I went on drums. He went on bass. This other kid comes up and he was getting his stuff from the practice space in Southside, the storage
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
He had his guitar in his car. He came out and like plugged the guitar in with an amp. So now we had a guitar. So then I start playing guitar with them and they were like freaking out. And this cop comes over as everyone has, I mean, they were like drinking beer. Like
Yeah.
they weren't being obvious, but everyone kind of had like drinks on hands, like being low key. I mean, it's right on Carson, so it's a busy street. He comes over and everyone's kind of like hiding their drinks. Literally asks to play guitar, and this cop plays guitar and shreds his
Oh
blues
my
jam.
God. Wow.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah.
That was in maybe May.
Unexpected turns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we need more of though, just like public events.
Yeah, yeah. It just sucks with. I feel like I'd said a couple times, the outdoor show is becoming a thing. Like very recently, I've seen a lot of outdoor shows. I've played a couple outdoor shows. It seems like it's been ramping up,
Yeah.
but it's gonna get cold soon.
Yes, very
know?
fucking cold.
Yeah. So then,
Very cold.
then once again, unless we open up indoor venues, the live music industry
Yeah.
takes a downturn. Which
So
isn't
you were
good.
born in Pittsburgh, right?
I was born in yes, yeah. I mean, if you were not from Pittsburgh, like if you were far away from Pittsburgh, you might as well say I was born in Pittsburgh. But like I was born in Washington, PA, at Trinity Hospital. Yeah. I was born in Washington, PA, at Trinity Hospital. And Diana Litwin and Zachk Cain, my mommy and daddy. Hi mom, hi dad. But yeah, I was born in Trinity Hospital.
But you've always been
In this
Pittsburgh
general
for, like,
area, yeah, I lived.
winters.
Yeah. I live. We lived in the South Hills when I was a kid. I still live in that general direction, and then I've just kind of been around the city my whole life.
If you moved somewhere else, where would you go?
I really like Pittsburgh. I don't know. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to be a little more like, if I had the, especially like, say one day I like am able to make a living off of music to where like my life is like touring and being in the studio. I'd like to take the time that I'm not touring or doing something like that to like spend a couple months living in one place, couple months living in another place.
Yeah.
That's what I'd really like to do. It's kind of bounce around, like spend enough time in each place that I understand what it's like to live there and not just be there as a tourist.
Right.
But like live
dream.
there for a little while and then bounce out somewhere else and
Right.
like live there for a little while. But I always thought that I would always like I would very much like to do that. That's like an ambition of mine for sure at some point in my life. But I like Pittsburgh a lot. I always thought
Me
like
too.
maybe when I was like old or something, I just, especially because I was coming here, so like I bounced around for a long time, got to live here and there and see what it's like, and then I'd come back to Pittsburgh because I have a lot of my core memories, and like founding things here. So I get to walk around the old streets, when I've had all my adventures. So I think hopefully I don't want to stay here for the rest of my life or anything,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go a lot of places. There's not one singular place that I'd ever like to live for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I'd like to come back to Pittsburgh when it's all said and done because I really do like it here.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I definitely want to try some other, like, dip my feet in
Yeah.
for other places, but I definitely would like to return to Pittsburgh.
I just think it's super interesting to not like, I mean, I like going to places in a touristy fashion. Like we were talking about, like when I went, the couple times that I've got to go on the road with the band, like, aside from playing the shows, we like walked around. We're like, oh my god, like new city, it's incredible. Like wow, look at all the big buildings. And we went to Chicago and we got Chicago pizza. You know what I mean? Like we
But
like did all
sometimes
the
it's
things,
not as
but
inviting. Pittsburgh's so inviting.
I just like I want to be able to see what it's like to really live in other places, to understand really what it's like to be a person there, other than just being fascinated by being there. And I'd like to do that for like a lot of places. But Pittsburgh is like, it's just home. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's what it is at the end of the day for me, because like I've been here all the time. So like
Right.
eventually I'd like to come back home, but I'd like to see a whole bunch of places. So
Once
I'd
you're in
wanna
a
go to
place for
Europe
more
so
than
bad.
3 weeks, it becomes way different than the first 3 weeks.
Yeah,
For
that's
some
what I'm
reason,
saying,
that final week, like I was in Dublin for 4.5 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks in, everything was way different. You're like, oh yeah, like it becomes normal almost.
Yeah, it's like this is life now, you know. Humans, that's
Excuse
like
me.
the big thing about humans, like in general, as
Yeah,
a
very
species.
adaptable.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I could totally believe that. I've never been in another place for that long, but I could totally believe
That was the
that.
only time, honestly.
Yeah,
I've
been
taken
gone for like
vacation
a week or
2
two.
weeks.
Yeah. And like the only times I did stuff on the road with the band, like, it was like 3 days, 2 days, and then
Yeah.
the first time I did it was one day. So like, you
Dude,
know what I
going
mean?
on tour would be crazy too.
Yeah, going like a long
if for,
ass
like-
tour, that'd be so good.
Like a month and a half, you're just
Yeah.
driving throughout, and then afterwards you just sleep.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Those days would be so tight. You wouldn't care about anything. You'd just be like, oh, I'm done.
From what?
I'm gonna make
Yeah.
pancakes and go do. I'm gonna go do the backstroke and.
Do you know
the lake.
Church Girls?
It sounds familiar.
I think they're from Philadelphia. They've come through here and played a few times. I've talked to them. I'm not super close to them or anything, but I met them one time and I like smoked with their drummer in the basement of the Bush now and chilled. And he was like, they
So
go
in the
on
Bush now.
tour for in the
Bushnell
Bush
is
now, yeah, the Bush,
basement.
yeah. But they go on tours for such long periods of time at DIY, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah.
It's because, like, without any other income, solely trying to do music live for your entire income is very difficult.
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of it to stay live.
Yeah.
But if you're selling something else on your way there, like merch, or even
Yeah.
if you have another job that helps that you can also sell shit for, like,
Right.
I was even thinking if I end up going on tour, I could definitely help other musicians that are really like market themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
You could always, something about like marketing and stuff like that is just like, you have Wi-Fi and you have a laptop, you can most likely
Yes,
do almost
sir.
everything that's connected
Especially
with marketing
working
from
from
anywhere.
home. You can work from anywhere.
Yeah,
Anywhere's
yeah.
home
Yeah.
that you're working from.
Anywhere that you have Wi-Fi and the thing that you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, the thing that you have to do.
Except a music venue, because you're not allowed in.
Yeah, true.
Can't work from there.
One thing I wanted to ask you in particular is, do you think, the way earlier, like, is a thought that's coming wrapping way back around. I personally think that one day the big studio concept, like go into the studio and paying all this money to lay down a record, I think that's going to be phased out one day. You can do so much in a home studio right now that I don't think that that's necessary at all anymore.
My answer is you're looking at it.
Well, right, yeah, but I don't think the idea of it's quite phased out.
No,
yet.
no, not at all.
Like,
but
you
the
know,
idea of
it's practical to phase it out right now. Like, you know, there are people that can make
the idea
like
of a CD isn't dead yet.
Right,
But it's found a different home.
Yeah.
You know, if you're
I-
done with a band where everyone is like just working on their instruments and they're not learning how to record themselves, of course you need places for them to go.
You need places to go, but the Catatonia records, all the music I put out with the band was recorded in Johnny Razor's basement. You know what I mean? And he has a nice
definitely.
setup. He has nice
But that's what I'm saying.
microphones. He has a know-how.
It's something external still.
Right. Yeah.
But
I just mean the
paying for a big studio. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
buildings
been
that are
dead
studios.
since they started recording. Like Motown was just they set it up in a house. One
Fair,
guy was like,
yeah.
all right, I'll record some people. But I mean, technically, even then, it was other groups coming in for a third party to record them. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. But
Yeah, you're right.
people are starting to realize more and more that they're not tied to one instrument or one facet.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm just super enamored with like each step that I'm interested enough to try to like dive into it.
Yeah.
At least enough to try to do something that will make me interested in what I'm doing. As long as it leads me to actually make musical stuff, I'll go after it. Like if I have to learn about synths for a while, it's super fucking interesting because I'm like, oh damn, like someone who only plays the synth, this is their whole world. But I could just dabble in and get the feeling of that and then go and like work on a modular synth or something.
Yeah.
Make something completely different than what I thought I would sit down to make. You
Yeah.
know?
I totally feel that. I try to have like a home, like my like guitar is like my like home instrument.
Right.
I know the most
Me
about
too,
that.
really.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
me
I
too.
like drums. I'm like getting a little better, more well versed in right now. But like guitars, like I know the most of what I'm doing on a guitar. You know.
Yeah.
But I do like to go out and branch out. Keys. I want to learn to play like straight up piano. Like that.
I want to learn
fucking
like jazz
so
piano.
Incredible.
Yeah, hell
Wow. Yeah.
Mom,
I
where
love
you
the
at?
sound of like a real like Like, I mean, a keyboard's great, you know, and keyboard sounds are great, but something about the sound of a real wood
Upright
metal
piano.
strings
Yeah, yeah.
piano, like
Yep.
right in the room. Like when you hit it real hard and it's distorted, like it has its own natural, without an amplifier,
Yep.
dynamics.
You hear
to
the
it.
inside of the piano.
Yeah, and one thing that really
beautiful.
impresses me is the distortion on it too.
Yeah.
Because like it's like a guitar, like you can play a guitar really hard, and an acoustic guitar,
Yep.
and it'll be more aggressive sounding, but rarely is it distorted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have trouble. I personally, unless there's someone out there, or unless you know different, have trouble achieving a distortion effect on an acoustic guitar. Piano, you just hit it hard and it literally sounds like it's distorted. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I agree that definitely is like the natural sound of it too, but it just has so much dynamic range, you know, with no electrical but you know what I mean?
No electrical ass.
No electrical aspects to it. No, like, you know, like there's nothing behind it. It's just, we took metal and wood, put this together, and it can make this entire broad range of sounds.
Yeah.
I find that pretty being
Piano's
incredible.
cool to me because it's the most visual representation of notes.
Yeah, they're all like, right, yeah. A lot of people say that, and say that like learning piano is like really good for learning other instruments, you know?
It is, but the other instruments I know I translate my guitar knowledge to, which guitar is more
too.
ears.
Yeah.
Piano, to me, which is probably why I can't play piano as well as I would like to, is because I still try to play the piano by ear, but I think it's a visual one. But I from piano players I've heard, it's just like, no, I just like put my fingers here. Like I just know it. I don't think about it. It's just like I play this and I hear it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's so visual to me, but guitar is not, you know?
Yeah.
But did you ever talk to piano players about playing guitar?
No.
It's super interesting. Next
Yeah.
time you talk to a pianist that doesn't play guitar, be like, did you ever try to play guitar? And ask them what they think guitar is. Just have like a meta conversation about guitar with them.
Yeah.
They say like it's hard because you need to remember all these shapes. And I'm like, what do you mean? You need to know more shapes for a piano because you can't just like learn a shape and then slide it up.
Okay.
But for them, it's like, oh yeah, I know these shapes. I know all of them. They just learn different shapes than us.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I do often, like when you mentioned that, I didn't really think about it till you mentioned that, but I do often, there are a lot of shapes to playing guitar,
Yeah.
like finger shapes and formations. There is a lot of that.
Yep.
Not just like in chords, but also like in like scales and everything.
Relationships between notes
Yeah.
and the strings.
There are a lot of shapes.
It's cool though because no matter what the instrument, the notes just happen to fall in place like that.
Yeah. That is crazy. The fact that I don't know, music is crazy that it exists at all.
Yeah,
It's like
I know.
it's one of the most pure
I still don't
things.
believe it exists.
Yeah,
honestly.
I know. I don't believe anything exists. But like it's one of the most pure things. Like you like play a note and it's like I don't know how to describe this. Like you meet a person and they might be a liar, they might be truthful, they might dress in black, they might dress in white, they might, you know, make all these choices day to day, and they have all these different things that they do. But like you play an E chord and that's an E chord.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can play blues, there are a million different styles of music, but it's so purely what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's tons of aspects that go into it. And there's tons of different styles, tons of different phrases. Endless to go,
like,
but it's so purely what it is.
It's cool because you could say play an E chord to anyone on any instrument and they'll play it.
Yeah, universal communicator.
Every single time, even if the same person plays it on the same instrument, it's going to sound slightly different. Even if they play the same note. Like,
yeah.
Often it is different notes or different variations of like the order of the notes.
Right.
But there's an objective.
It encapsulates who you are and like your culture and like everything about you.
It's so defined that you can play your own version of it so easily because it's so set in stone what it is, you know. But there's so much room for it. Yeah. Let's end on that.
Yeah, I gotta piss. So thanks for having me on the L podcast.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We should go jam in the basement right now to Eternal.
Down. I'm down.
Let's do it. Boom, 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 kaboom, boom, 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 boom. Goodbye, everybody.